Jerry is center stage. That's a scary place for you to be.
Why? I'm standing here and it's nice, especially when Louie's going to play something for me.
I noticed.
If you stay with us a while, instead of flipping that dial, you know that we'll be in love with you. And if you give us a call and make a pledge, big or small, the love you give will come back to you. What other way can we say that we're all a part of this dream that we know one day will come true? So when the pledge board reveals how everyone really feels, that's when we'll all fall in love with, we'll be in love with, you know that we will love you. Oh, we finished together. Oh, yes. Lisa, you're up, sweetheart.
Thanks a lot, Jerry. Good job, guys. Wow. Here we are into, what hour are we into, Jerry?
We're in hour 8, sweetheart.
Hour 8.
Yes,
and aren't
we only
they
have
incredible?
39 to go.
Right now, here. Oh, no, a timpani, I've been told. A timpani, Jerry.
Oh, you're kidding.
Hang on, everybody, because
A
this is usually
timpani.
Ed's
Let's do
job.
it.
What do we have?
Name. 1, 3, 2, 3, 0, 1.
Yes.
That's great.
That's $1 million an hour.
Yeah, now let's start the double
We gotta
up.
do better.
Now, here's when I start getting greedy.
All right, over with Jerry right now. Here representing key clubs across the nation is immediate international trustee James O'Byrne. Jamie O'Byrne.
Jamie?
Hi, Jerry.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fine.
Wonderful. I mean that sincerely.
Tonight I'm here representing the members of Key Club International. This past year we've seen a wonderful time of expansion and goals reached. And as an example of the work we've done and the things that we've accomplished, I have this check here with me for $125,000.
I think that's wonderful, Jamie. Thank you. You're welcome. Lisa, sweetheart.
You know, lots of kids want to grow up and have careers in sports. That was always a dream of super sports fan Matt Shuman. Well, how do you participate in sports when you can't run for a touchdown or hit a homer or slam dunk the winning points? Well, Matt Shuman found a way to overcome every obstacle, and he turned his love of sports into a career.
My name is Matt Shuman. I am a sports writer for the Greeley Tribune in Greeley, Colorado. I've worked there for the past 5 years. I cover the University of Northern Colorado college sports and also the Denver Broncos. My dad died in a plane crash when I was 2 years old, so it was basically my mom who raised me.
Matt was diagnosed as having Wernicke-Hoffman disease when he was about 1 year old. Nobody on either side of the family had ever had any type of dystrophy.
When I was first diagnosed, they had said I might not even live past the age of 2.
And of course, at that time, I thought, I'll never be able to handle this by myself. I did, and Matt's brother, Mark, was a tremendous help.
He went on to the University of Northern Colorado, where he graduated with a degree in journalism and got a job as a sports writer for the Greeley Tribune, and has basically done it on his own.
I started as a poster child for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Always found being a poster child for the Muscular Dystrophy Association as truly one of the great experiences for me, because I think what it did most for me is I saw all of the good that the organization does.
Matt's now a member of the National Task Force on Public Education for Muscular Dystrophy. And in that capacity, he's trying to help educate the public on what MDA's goals are as far as their fundraising and where their money's spent.
I felt it so important to be a member of the National Task Force on Public Awareness because I want to show people out there the good that MDA does and the telethon, because I think that we need to speak up as patients and be out there and say, hey, look what this does for us. Look at how this makes us independent. There are 40 different forms of muscular dystrophy, and sometimes you get so isolated on your form, you tend to maybe forget about others and what they're going through. Where for me, it may not be so much anymore worrying about whether I'm going to live or die for somebody with ALS. They're wondering, what's going to happen tomorrow, not worrying about 10 or 20 years down the road.
Muscular Dystrophy Association has been a great help to us, and all of us who are involved certainly hope that they find a cure. I know they've made a great deal of progress, and it would be wonderful for any child now if they could find a cure. And I would hope that it would even be able to help Matt in some way.
I have a letter here, and I know that sometimes it's difficult for people to comprehend that we receive $8.5 million from the firefighters last year, or that cable network gave us $5 million. And then we get back to that, well, if I call up for $3 or $6, I mean, what does that mean? It means a hell of a lot. It means that board moves. And the movement of that board is predicated on you, the American public, that go to the phones. We've discussed that. We recognize that the corporate money is vital for huge research development. Your calls, equally as important, goes to patient care and research, but that board doesn't move unless you make the calls. Now, I have a letter here from a young boy, and because he is literally using the phone, but by way of mail with me, this will go up on that pledge board. The young man's name is Isaac Litzky. He lives in Miami. He's the young boy that I starred in a film that I directed for the UNICEF people last year. This marvelous young man was 13 years old the other day, and yesterday he had his bar mitzvah. Today he is a man, 13 years old. The money he received on this very, very precious day in the Hebrew faith came to $1,018. He sent me the check for all that he received for his bar mitzvah. $1,018. He says, I have enclosed a contribution to the Muscular Dystrophy Association with my bar mitzvah money. I feel very lucky that I do not need it, and I know that in your hands it will do so much good. It will go up on that pledge board, and never have I been prouder knowing a young man like I am proud of Isaac Litzky. And for you in the audience that may not have $1,018 to send to us, I will feel the same gratitude and probably write you a similar letter of gratitude and thanks for whatever the figure it is that you call and we put up on that pledge board. Okay? Take it, sweetheart.
That's a very nice story, Jerry. Nice. Right now, here representing the National Food Brokers Association is the president and CEO, Bob Schwartz, and president of CBS Marketing, Mr. Dick Barr.
Welcome back, Bob. Welcome, Dick. You can applaud for these people. They come up with a lot of loot, you know, these people. Makes them feel comfortable. Makes them feel wanted when you applaud.
Jerry, I'm proud to be here representing the National Food Brokers Association and to give our support to MDA and your kids. Our member food broker companies are independent organizations providing professional sales and marketing services to the food and non-food manufacturers they represent across this United States. Through the Isles of Smiles program, several of our members have teamed up with manufacturers they represent and with retailers in major markets to raise funds for MDA. Dick?
Jerry, I'd like to tell you just how happy and privileged we feel about our involvement in the Isles of Smiles program for the past 6 years. We feel fortunate that we can do our part by bringing people together to help your kids. It's one of the most rewarding things we can do to give something back to our community. Let's take a look at what Isles of Smiles is all about.
Okay, Clay, would you run that for us, please?
Say, ladies, tell us what's going on here.
Oh, you mean Isles of Smiles? Where have you been? Doesn't everybody know Isles of Smiles is a program where manufacturers, brokers, and retailers help Jerry's kids?
We've been supporting Isles of Smiles for years. We never miss this promotion because we know we're helping people when we buy Isles of Smiles products at our favorite store.
We like to support companies that give something back.
Especially when it doesn't cost us any more, and we still get the same high-quality products.
Jerry?
That's great.
Jerry, on behalf of our principals, our retail customers, and the thousands of consumers who support this program, I'm proud to present you with another check for $500,000.
Oh, I'll take that. Thank you, Dick. Thank you, Bob. We'll see you later in the morning. Thank you. Okay, to the lovely Miss Gibbons, who is waiting there.
And 1992 marks the 8th year of support from the cable television industry through a national voluntary Cable Cares About Jerry's Kids campaign. So let's take a look.
In small towns and big cities across the nation, thousands of cable TV employees have been working hard to raise money to help Jerry's kids. From customer service representatives on the phones to installers, sales personnel, and workers in the offices, everyone has pitched in because cable cares about Jerry's kids.
How do you put a price on a pair of legs or 2 strong hands? If you couldn't walk, how much would you pay to be able to take care of your children or keep your job? Can you believe that a motorized wheelchair like this one Shelley O'Brien uses at work can cost $4,000 to $8,000? How about a simple manual wheelchair? One you push yourself if your arms and hands are strong enough, like the one P.J. Dixon uses when he plays basketball. Can you believe that this basic piece of equipment costs up to $2,000? Or maybe the muscles in your legs have weakened so you can't stand, you need a walker. Would you believe that these can start at about $100? Or think about getting up in the morning, getting ready to go to school, or take care of a family. If your muscles no longer cooperate, you might need a hydraulic lift just to get out of bed. That's about $1,200. And maybe you'll need an adjustable bed, another $1,200. You see, people with special challenges work, attend school, enjoy families, play sports, shop, everything you and I do. But sometimes they need the help of special equipment. The cost of that equipment is high, but you can't really put a price on the mobility and freedom of action your pledge to MDA will provide. So go to your phone, make that call.
Lisa looks as beautiful on the screen and on the monitors as she does in person, don't you think? I think she's just lovely. I was telling Lisa backstage before one of the breaks that the wonderful part about Lisa Gibbons is that she is not only a professional and a marvelous broadcaster, but she's also a mother who cares and understands the plight of the child. It makes a tremendous difference. Not that we don't have wonderful people who are not parents that help this association. They're out there. I am very proud and very honored to announce that we have more than 1,200,000 volunteers that work out in this country to prepare for this telethon and to help this telethon get going and to make it work as it works. 1,200,000 volunteers that this organization can call by telephone number, can write by address and zip code, and get them in place so that they are there for us when we're ready to do the Labor Day Telethon. I don't know of any other fundraising organization in the world that can proclaim that. Moreover, I don't know of any other fundraising organization in the world that can proclaim the pride of accomplishment that we have had for the most important research inroads in the last 4 years. That's what's happening with your money when you call and you pledge. Needless to say, the corporate money is used equally as importantly. But when you call and you get on the phone and you make those numbers cook, we are getting a shortcut to the answers. I repeat something I said some years ago. Jonas Salk received a $50 million grant, and all of a sudden there wasn't polio anymore. If we can raise enough research money in one felt swoop, we know we can get a cure. And we don't have to do a telethon on Labor Day. What the hell I would do on Labor Day from now on, I don't know. But it would be wonderful to try to figure that one out. So think about that. And for you, ladies and gentlemen in the studio, we're still talking about quite a number of people that are here being entertained by all of these performers. If on your way out, you feel so inclined, remember I told you about little Isaac Litzky's check from his bar mitzvah. We'll take any check you got. We'll take chips from the crap table. People go to church here and put chips in a basket. I'll take cash. I got a pail. I'll come up in the audience. You got cash. You can give it to me. Where's my pail? I may go up in the audience and see how much I can raise. I'll do it the next hour. Okay, I'll do it the next hour because she's not well and we have something to show you now. Okay? Go ahead, run it, Clay.
Hi, I'm Eddie. And I'm Mike, just part of the transportation team. The driving force behind Telethon 92. Yes. And we're asking you to call in your pledge now. Have your American Express, Visa, MasterCard, or Discover card in hand when you call. And if you use American Express, the American Express company will donate an extra $1 to Jerry's Kids. So please call the number on your screen, or 1-800-FIGHT-MD. That's 1-800-FIGHT-MD. Do it now.
People.
Thanks.
And I presented them. That shows you what a schmuck I am, right? Okay. Once again, I would like to acknowledge Canada. What the hell does that mean? We know where it is. It's right up above where we are. I acknowledge Canada. So the guy said, I read a sign that said, drink Canada dry, so I went up there and tried it. Anyhow, we want to thank them for their support in the fight against muscular dystrophy. The Canadian people have been terrific. I was just up there in Montreal 2 weeks ago, and I was given a tremendous honor and by the Comedy Film Festival, and Andy Nullman, who runs the whole festival, does a tremendous job in Montreal. That's not all of Canada, I know that, but they're terrific. They are part of Canada. Quebec is also on the French side. You want me to hurry up? Oh, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, our next guests are singers who will take us on an exciting musical journey through the past 4 decades. They are? Oh, I can't wait. Hold on, because here we go with the Anita Mann AM Singers. Let's welcome them. This is really going to be terrific.
Start up that little deuce goose. Push the pedal to the metal on that 409. We'll have fun, fun, fun till your daddy takes the T-bird away. Cause we're going to a go-go for a blast from the past. Yeah! Come on! Are you ready for shouting time? Yeah! Are you ready for shouting time? Oh, well, here we go. I said, here we go. You know you make me wanna throw my hands up, throw my hands up, throw my hands back. Come on, man, don't forget to say you will. Don't forget to say yeah, yeah, yeah. Say you will. Sing it right now, baby. Say you will. Come on, come on. Say you will. Say that. Say that you love me. Say that you need me. Say that you want me. You'll never tease me. Come on. little thing called shout. When we say the word shout and point at you, say shout back at us, all right? Here we go, we're depending on you. Say shout, 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 shout. A little softer now, a little bit softer now, a little bit softer now. Come on, say shout, 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 yeah, shout, 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 shout. I gotta get some more. Say shout, 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 yeah. A little bit louder now, a little bit louder now, a little bit louder now, a little bit louder. Say hey, 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 out here like a Buckley. A minute. Woo! All right. Yeah!
Calling out around the world, are you ready for a brand new beat? Summer's here and the time is right. We're dancing in the street. Oh, it doesn't matter what you wear, as long as you are there. Come on, every guy, every girl, every man, every boy.
Come on, everybody. Come on in. Bobby's gonna show you how to do the swing. You got to know how to pony.
Come on,
Like Boney Maroney.
come on,
You got to mash potato. Come on, do the alligator.
come on.
Kinda like a monkey, kinda like a twist. Pretend you're in the water and you go like this. Now, baby, swing. Baby, do the swing. Come on, do the backstroke. You got to know how to jerk. Woo! Come on, baby, watch me work.
Come on,
You got to do the watch. Like a my little Lucy.
come on.
Just like the dough, but not so low. Like the holly golly, but not so slow. Holly, holly golly. Holly, holly golly. Everybody. Holly, holly golly. Holly, have a holly. Holly, holly golly. Holly, holly golly.
When me and my baby do it, how we do it the most.
Holly, holly, holly.
Mama holly golly,
Papa, holly, golly.
You can holly golly too.
Everybody's doing a brand new dance now. Come on, baby, do the locomotion. I know you get to like it if you give it a chance now. Come on, baby, do the locomotion. My little baby says it can do with ease. It's easier than love in the rainy seas. Oh, so come on, do the locomotion with me.
Oh, Jesus!
I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. My monster from the slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. He did the monster mash.
I know Kevin well, Willie. Got a good little chick named Rockin' Lily. I see him like a rolling Suzy Q. Said he's doing that crazy hand drive too. Hand drive, hand drive, hand drive. Doing that crazy hand drive, yeah.
Willie Lily got married last fall. They had a little Willie Jr. and that ain't all. The baby got famous in the plane you see.
I know we have to have that break.
By doing that hand dive on TV. Shake it, shake it, shake it, baby. Here we go, loop to loop. Shake it up, baby. Here we go, loop to line.
Bend over, let me see you shake your tail feather.
Bend over, let me see you shake a tail feather.
Bend over, let me see you shake your tail feather.
Oh, shake it up, baby.
Shake it up, baby.
Switch it, shout. Come on, baby.
Come on, baby.
Come on, work it on out.
Work it on out.
Well, you do it so good.
Oh, yeah. So good.
Well, you do it so fine.
So fine.
Come on, twist a little closer. Know your mind.
Know your mind.
Shake it, shake it, shake it, baby.
Shake it up, baby.
Shake it, shake it, shake it, baby.
Shake it up, baby.
Shake it, shake it, shake it, baby.
Shake it up, baby.
Let's hear it for the Anita Mann singers and dancers.
A blast from the past.
Okay.
Hey, before we go, we'd like to have you meet the AM cast. Starting with the lovely Jill Carr. Yeah, come on, give it to her.
I'll give it
The
to her.
exciting Shirley
I'll give it
McLean.
to her, all right.
The vivacious Melanie Taylor. The dynamic Brian Clark. My name is Phil. Thank both. Thank you. Keep those phones ringing, all right? We love you. Before we go, you gotta meet the AM Orchestra. I need you. I need you. I need you. I need you. I need you.
This is the MDA Telethon Network.
I believe in committing myself to what's important in my life, my family, my job, and finding a cure for Becker dystrophy, the disease that's disabling me. I know that there's just one agency working on that, the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Sure, I believe in disability rights, but what's important to me is that MDA is working hard to find a cure for me. Without it, I won't be here to fight for what's important in my life.
We're going to be back with Jerry Lewis in Las Vegas in just a few minutes for more fantastic live entertainment. You know, we have heard a great deal in the past few hours about the lives of persons with disabilities. And these are stories of hope and courage, and they're very inspirational to all of us because what they show us is the raw potential of the human spirit and the driving need to achieve. The feelings that these stories evoke in us are very powerful because they come from the heart, that inexplicable little muscle that links us all together in common human responses. Now we're going to address some issues that on the surface may seem a little devoid of emotion. We're going to be talking about the Americans with Disabilities Act, the ADA. It's a piece of legislation passed this summer that makes it illegal to discriminate in any way against people with disabilities. But we're going to humanize that law by introducing you to three dynamic individuals, professionals, who live and work and achieve great things every day in spite of disabilities. With me are Teddy Scharf, who is the Associate Director for Disabled Student Resources at Arizona State University. David Sheffield, First Assistant District Attorney of Harlan County, Texas. We'll hear if he has a Southern accent in a minute. And Santa Clara, California physician, Dr. Arnold Gale. Thank you for joining us here today. Arnold, you're a medical professional, so you would know both sides of the disability coin. You're the doctor, and to somebody, you are the patient. So you've lived in those two worlds, pre-ADA and post-ADA. What does it mean to you in terms of how you see yourself and in terms of your own expectations of what the ADA will bring into your life?
I received my diagnosis of muscular dystrophy when I was a 19-year-old college sophomore in 1968. But I was fortunate that I remained fully ambulatory until all of my formal medical education and training was completed. And it wasn't until 1983, when I first used a wheelchair, that I had to confront the world of limited access, as many of my own patients had previously. I'm hopeful, therefore, that the ADA will bring down some of the physical barriers that we all have to face, but more, I hope it'll create an awareness among all of us about not just physical barriers, but attitudinal barriers and psychological barriers about people with disabilities. I'm hopeful that because I'm a physician myself, my own patients and other people who get to interact with me will realize that aside from my physical limitations, I'm really just like everybody else.
For other people with disabilities, is there a real factor in role modelism?
There has been for me, personally, absolutely.
Give me an example. I mean, if I know intellectually that there are people in wheelchairs and I don't see them, how does that limit me?
I'm not speaking intellectually now. When I had to fill out applications for medical school in 1970, and I was asked who were the people inspirational in my life, perhaps one of the most inspirational people was one of my father's very closest childhood friends who in the early 1950s acquired polio and had 3 limbs, both legs and 1 arm, that were paralyzed all of his adult life. We were very close, he and I learned about being independent and being warm and being kind, not only from family members, but from that man as well.
So if I were, and by the fact that there's 1/6 of the population that is in some way disabled, if I have a doctor who's disabled, this is different than intellectually knowing that there are doctors who are disabled. I see you, and it makes my life think of the possibilities.
Yeah, well, as you can imagine, I get funny looks from time to time from people who can't really believe that a physician would use a wheelchair. And how did I come to be a physician anyway? But the most interesting looks I get are from youngsters and adolescents in particular who have physical disabilities, who for the first time meet someone in a position of responsibility, someone who is ministering to their needs, who looks just like they look. And it's extraordinary, the responses that you get.
David Sheffield, you're an attorney working with the legal system, so in many ways you too lead a dual life. You're someone's patient and you're a professional. From a legal standpoint, what does the ADA mean to, in terms of your life? And have there been things that would have been easier, maybe, or less frustrating personally for you? Let's say we had this legislation 10 years ago. Would things have changed?
If we had this legislation 10 years ago, I probably would have been able to plan my life out a little easier. There'd been more economic opportunities and job opportunities or fields that I felt like I would be able to pursue. I grew up wanting to become a lawyer, knowing that I needed to get into a profession where I would be self-employed, where I would be calling the shots and decisions economically for myself in life. And this caused me to pursue that road. But
did you have a role model growing up?
I did. I sure did. As a young child with a neuromuscular disease, I watched, of course, the telethon every year and saw Bob Sampson, an attorney, somebody who's already been down that road, and who showed me that it was possible. So it opened up that opportunity for me.
It would not have clicked as easily, perhaps, for you.
Wouldn't have clicked as easily. It would not have seemed quite as possible to me as it did when I saw him and others like him featured on this telethon.
Teddy Sharp, you work with hundreds of students at Arizona State University at a time when these young people are on the brink of deciding their career or beginning their career or starting their lives. Will they have a new outlook because of the ADA?
I believe they do. I've seen a steadily increasing awareness and self-advocacy being expressed by the students. I worked for 20 years in higher education with students with disabilities, all types of disabilities, and I have seen them go from a rather apathetic, benign participation in the whole process where they allowed the university or our office to take care of things to, in the past year and a half, they've become very active in determining their own accommodation.
The hope to take on the responsibility.
That's
Is it accelerating? You were telling me, Doctor, you thought it was accelerating.
Yes, I do.
You really think that it's picking up speed much faster?
Well, the ADA helps to do that, but I think what also helps to do that is to have people like Teddy and David in positions of responsibility where they're highly visible to people who interact with them, especially young people who are choosing careers and making plans for themselves. It not only gives them tangible instruction about their own careers, but it provides hope and encouragement.
Teddy, you've come all the way with this fight for equal opportunity yourself. Will this mean anything for you personally?
A lot more work, but it's fun.
Really.
It's
well,
a lot of fun.
Being honest and saying that it would mean a lot more work. You've all accomplished great things that I think many people watching us now will never do, regardless of the fact that society would say you are disabled. You've all achieved successful personal and professional lives without the ADA. Has it cost you? Do you ever feel deep down in your heart unfair, or this cost me, and that maybe the next generation won't have to?
It's been an adventure. I think my whole life has been an adventure of learning how to deal with the challenges that I've had to face.
But what about the bad times, the frustrations, the things that I don't think one should let oneself dwell on? Weren't there times when you wouldn't make it?
I don't think I ever thought that there was a time that I wouldn't make it or that I wouldn't be successful. But I think there were times when other people imagined that I wouldn't be successful and wouldn't make it. And it was their attitude that made me uncomfortable and was obstructive. But I don't think I ever had that feeling. I think that feeling begins at home with your upbringing, with your family, and with your close friends. And because I was raised that way, I don't think I had that feeling.
I never felt like I couldn't do it or that I can't do it. But you never know. You know, but those bad times that you're talking about or alluding to, you know, I found now that they've been great character builders and such, and I've only personally benefited from my hard times and such. I feel like I'm a much stronger person
Can you give me an
in
example
personality.
of
Well, I've been close to death several times, and anybody who's had a near-death experience can tell you that it changes your entire outlook on the world and what's important and where your priorities are and such. And I feel like that allows me to cope with things much better than what I would without those experiences, maybe.
We live in a society that is hell-bent on avoiding pain. You know, anything you can do. Can you take a pill? Can you take a drink? Can you take anything so that you won't have to go through any kind of emotional or physical trauma? And I'm sitting with people who have, and they're saying, this was good for me. We never emphasize that in our educational system. We never say a little bit of problems and pain may be the fire you need.
I'm just saying I experienced and gained from it. Not that I wanted to go through it.
Oh, gosh, no. But there has to be a positive side of it. Did you just get married?
I got married last year in July 20th. So.
Was that always, were you always going to get married?
No, that really caught me by surprise.
Oh, really? What happened?
Well, I just met a beautiful lady.
Miss Wright?
Right, no, Miss Reed. She was a local dentist, and we finally started dating, and very shortly thereafter we decided to get married.
Did you feel that to all of you, did you feel that somewhere along the line there would be a payoff called the ADA? Did you think that the world would change and it would change that way?
I don't think that I ever imagined that there would be laws when I was growing up. When the Rehab Act when the Rehab Act of '73 was passed, I was going to school myself at the time, and it led to a real involvement that actually led to my career, and it was in the disability rights movement at that time in the 70s. Then to think that there would be another law that would be even stronger that would come along this many years later.
Will it have the effect that you want, do you think, especially as somebody in education? Will it work for you?
I think it's up to us as individuals. We have to take our own responsibility for making this law something that it was meant to be, for getting the education so that we're qualified people for what we want to do in life.
What's it going to take to make it stick?
Persistence.
People's attitudes in complying with the law and such, And just based on my very limited experience in Southeast Texas, many businesses seem very accommodating and willing now to do what is necessary to come into
From a
compliance.
personal standpoint and a legal standpoint, what do you think is vital to the whole process of making it effective? Exposure, police people who go around and say you didn't do this, you didn't do that. What makes this thing work?
What makes it work is people's attitudes with regard to law. Law carries with it penalties for non-compliance and such, but people's attitudes and acceptance and support,
More important than
support of
enforcing the law.
is more important.
What's the bottom line for you, Doctor? Where to now?
Well, I have a lot of responsibility that I've had before, and it'll continue. My life doesn't change dramatically with new elevators and new ramps.
Really?
It really doesn't.
Well, it may get you into places you don't want to get into, but...
It may just.
You know, you've always had an excuse for not accessing
I think what the future holds for me as a physician is that I have even more responsibility now to work with patients, young patients in particular, who are going to be making career choices in the future that I made in the past, to provide them with encouragement and support, and if I'm able to be an effective role model. And through support groups that we run at the MDA for young people and for adults, to be there for them.
Let's talk about it in a very specific way. Could somebody in a wheelchair, tell me the good parts and the bad parts, can they get through medical school? I know you didn't have to do it that way, but put that aside and you see where the barriers are, and what about the internships and residencies and things like that? Give me part of that.
Sally, in fact, there are people who used wheelchairs from the very beginning of medical school. There aren't very many, but there are some. Some of them were my own students in Washington, D.C. during the 80s, and I was pleased to act as their advisor. And I'm very proud of what those people have accomplished. Certainly we modified the curriculum, but we didn't change. We simply modified the number of hours per week that they were required to work, and we changed some of the responsibilities for tasks that are generally performed on your feet to tasks that can be performed sitting down. To this day, I perform all medical procedures sitting down of necessity, and I perform them in about the same way I performed them when I was still ambulatory as an intern and as a resident. I like to think I performed them better, with greater experience.
That was the question. If you modify the curriculum, do you have a doctor who's not as proficient?
Absolutely not. We don't eliminate the curriculum. We modify the curriculum. Those physicians know what other physicians know, and they can do what other physicians can do.
We always hear how tiring it is, especially the area of being an intern. Is it as tiring for somebody? Isn't it more tiring for somebody in a wheelchair? You know, we have these things. Wake up, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. You've got to quickly run over there, as it were.
I was an intern in the mid-'70s in a huge general hospital in Boston, and for the first 6 months that I was an intern, I had anxieties about nurses having to wake me up in just the circumstances you're describing, and I drank a lot of coffee for the first time in my life in order to stay awake. I discovered after a while that that still wasn't going to do it, and I needed my rest, and I took the risk and fell asleep. Got up just like everybody else.
When you had to?
When I had to, I had to. Still.
And when, do the students come in and they discuss different careers with you?
Oh, yes, and myself and my staff.
What are the limitations in terms of, is there any job or career you tell them not to go into? I mean, besides the obvious of sports or something like that.
Well, not because of their disabilities. Technology.
Not because of their disabilities.
No, not because of their disabilities. We certainly would encourage them to pursue. There might be some other reasons. For instance, if a student wanted to be a fine arts major, and that's just a very difficult field to find enough work to support yourself
But that is, it's going to be difficult to somebody.
For anybody. Yes, that's right. That's
exactly.
Right.
So you just deal with them the way they should be dealt with.
That's right. With
on an equal
any other student. And technology is making it possible for many students to access any field that's open at this point.
Such as what is new in the technology field?
Well, brailing, for instance, used to take 6 months to 2 years for whatever the particular material, 2 years for a math or science book. Now, with the technology available through computers and special software and so forth, you can produce Braille in a matter of hours.
Really?
So there's a big change, and that is opening up all kinds of fields for the blind. And the blind are at this point probably the most underemployed population in the disabled population. So that by being able to produce the materials in a format, when we read a book, for instance, we read it with our eyes and our ears, because we can see it and we say it to ourselves. So imagine having to listen only to a book. You don't get that other input. But if it's in Braille, then they read it with their fingers, so they're doing the exact same thing. They're reading it through their fingers, and they're reading it to themselves, so they're hearing it. So it's a much greater learning process. So if we provide materials, and this is true of a number of other areas too, in the format that they can access, the learning is greater, access to the learning materials and to the program that they're related to.
This is not, of course, to stop any of us who read for the blind, stop doing that. We have to continue, but she makes the point that if you feel it and you hear it, it makes it ever so much more important. When I talk to you, I feel very exhilarated. There is this great power of positive thinking, and it's not worth anything unless someone turns that power into positive action. But it does win out, and it will defeat the odds. It will extinguish negativity. And I think we've all just had that pretty well driven home by looking and talking to three remarkable people. I think one of the most important messages that you three have given us all is that this is a fight for everybody, not just a fight for people with disabilities, and we have to take a stand and make it work. So thank you very much, everybody, and we are going back to Jerry, who is with us live from Las Vegas.
I've dealt with a disability most of my life, but that hasn't stopped me from getting an education and working in my profession. I am an educator, and I want to continue to teach. The only way that this is going to happen is if the Muscular Dystrophy Association can find a cure for my disease. MDA research is so vital to me because I want to be around a lot longer. I still have an awful lot to learn.
It is the early hours of the morning in the fantasy-filled city that never sleeps. We are live from Las Vegas. This is the 1992 Muscular Dystrophy Association Jerry Lewis Labor Day Telethon. And here's the man whose energy keeps us all awake and raring to go, Jerry Lewis.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome back. We are in hour 9. Hour 9. Gee, I don't know where the time went. We're in hour 9, and we're here to entertain you and to give you all the information that will motivate you, hopefully, so that you'll use your phones. And I'm also very proud to mention, again, not to be redundant, but we will play to over 100 million people in this telecast, and those people are the people that make those numbers click away. Notwithstanding the wonderful corporate people that do so much to help my kids. Now we entertain you, and we'll give you some information and some vital scientific facts along the way, and some of the medical advisory information. But right now we want you to hear a singer who for 40 years has made singing something important, because he's as young and as refreshing a stylist as ever. Yet he's been around for as long as I have, and that's why we've been good friends. Please welcome Mr. Julius La Rosa, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait. Oh, thank you very much. You're very kind. Thank you. I have with me something that typifies what you bring out in America on Labor Day every year. And this is Emmis. You know, usually I get here like 3 or 4 days before we do the rehearsals. I had to work on Saturday night, something I shouldn't say couldn't get out of, but something I had to do. After the show, I was signing some autographs, and a lady came over and gave me this.
For Jerry's kids, $10 from Madeline Liberatore. And it will go up on that board. That's important money.
And that's the
Thank
kind
you.
of spirit that happens from this show. And once a year, America is one.
Thank you, Julie.
Okay. Thank you. When you're awake, the things you think come from the dreams you dream. Thought has wings and lots of things are seldom what they seem. Sometimes you think you've lived before all that you live today. The things you do come back to you as if they knew the way. Oh, the tricks your mind can play. It seems we stood and talked like this before. We looked at each other in the same way then, but I can't remember where or when. The clothes you are wearing, they're the clothes you wore. The smile you are smiling, you were smiling then, but I can't remember where or when. Some things that happened for the first time, they seem to be happening again. And so it seems that we have met before. We laughed before, and we loved before, and who knows where or when. Thank you. Thank you. Kisses. No, we need time. Here's your mic. Here's your mic. Thank you. Rogers and Hart.
Where the hell are you going?
I'm gonna go and sit back in the room.
You're supposed to do another number.
No, but I understand we need some time, Jerry. We need some time.
You're doing another number.
I'm doing another number.
Yeah.
You
flew 3,000 miles to sing one chorus of a Jewish theme song.
No, I know you need time, Jerry.
Do another number, Julie.
That's the boss. That's the boss. You're crazy. Younger than springtime, are you? Warmer than music, are you? Warm as the winds of spring are the gentle lips you gave me. Gayer than laughter, are you? Sweeter than music, are you? Angel and lover, heaven and earth, are you to me? And when your youth and joy invade my arms and fill my heart as now they do, then younger than springtime am I, gayer than laughter am I, angel and lover, heaven and earth am I with you. Oh! Younger than springtime are you, gayer than laughter are you, warm as the winds of June are the gentle lips You gave me gayer than laughter. Are you sweeter than music? Are you angel and lover, heaven and earth? Are you to me? And when your youth and your joy invade my arms and fill my heart as now they do, then younger than springtime am I, gayer than laughter am I, angel and lover, heaven and earth am I with you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, come on, let's hear it. This man flew 3,000 miles to be with us. Thank you, Julie. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go any further, will you please join me in thanking my band, the best in the land, Lou Brown and the Telethon Orchestra. Gentlemen, ladies, please take a bow. Jack Eglass, Lou Brown, and all of my gang. They're the best.
The best. That's what they say, they is the best. And now here's Lisa Gibbons, who's also very good, the best.
Thank you, Jerry. These guys are the best any hour of the day or night, too, we're talking. Super fine.
Yes.
Well, Jerry, throughout the night, we'll be meeting some outstanding students from across the nation who have raised money for your kids. Introducing you to these exciting students is MDA's National Task Force member, a senior at Wright State University in Dayton, Ohio. Good-looking guy and a heck of a nice one, too. P.J. Dixon.
We want to be sure. We want to be sure that we got you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Lisa. Oh, you got me. All right.
Yes.
Jerry, thousands of students dedicate time each year to help your kids. In schools throughout the country, young people raise money for MDA by conducting special events like dance-a-thons, auctions, and bowl-a-thons. With me now, representing the students from Monsignor Farrell High School in Staten Island, New York, are James Prendamano, Lisa Albarno, Jessica Schwegel, and Greg Watson.
Thank you, PJ.
Hi, guys. Ladies, gentlemen, how are you? I'm glad to have you with us.
Glad to be
Are you
here.
going to be the spokesman?
We all are.
All right, well, speak up.
Okay. On behalf of Monsignor Farrell High School and St. Joseph Hill Academy, I'm proud to present you with this check for $109,000 for your kids.
$109,000. Thank you all. That's great. That's wonderful.
Our assistant moderator and principal, vice principal, Mr. McManus, set goals at the beginning of the year. We wanted to reach 100,000. Thanks to his dedication, direction, support, and just his belief in the power of the kids, we were able to achieve and succeed past these goals.
Well, will you thank him for us and let him know that we're a lot of very grateful people here in this association for young people like you. The wonderful thing about young people like all of you is that you're the ones they never write about in the newspapers. They write about the 3% that are idiots, and they forget the 97% of you that do this kind of work.
Thank you.
Thank you all. God bless you. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest is a gentleman who I had the good fortune of working with here at the Sahara Hotel. And he was, without question, one of the finest opening acts I ever had on my show. I used to go out following him, and that audience was alive. It took nothing for me to perform. When you have great performers in front of you, you just have to show up. Please welcome one of the best ventriloquists in the business, Mr. Ron Lucas, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, thank you. Folks, I don't want to let anybody down. I'm not the world's best ventriloquist. I'm like the best in my price range. Okay? We're about to find out what that is, okay? Jerry, thank you. It was a wonderful opening for you when I was here. It had nothing to do with the telethon when we worked the Congo room here at the Sahara. It was amazing. He still raised $300 million. I don't know how he did it. But I'm going to demonstrate what a ventriloquist is, folks. It's basically a guy who can talk without moving his or her lips. So watch the lips. They don't leave the face. Here we go.
When the work's all done and son said, oh, thank God I'm a country boy. I'd play Sally Gooden all day if I could. The Lord and the wife wouldn't think it very good, so I'll fiddle on account of work when I should. Thank God I'm a country boy.
I got to breathe. All right? Thank you. That's about 5 years of my life. Now, people think a ventriloquist can make anything... Is this on? You can hear? Okay. People think a ventriloquist can make anything talk. That's not entirely true.
You hit me.
In fact, if you've ever seen a live ventriloquist...
I said you hit me.
Hello?
Hello?
I hear a voice.
Down here, turkey. In front of you. Ow!
The microphone?
That's Mr. Microphone to you.
You're Mr. Microphone?
You hit me. I think you broke my nose.
No, you're a piece of sound equipment. You don't have a nose.
I did before you hit me.
Yeah, right. Okay. Okay, folks.
Hey!
Don't do that.
That's my neck.
I'm sorry. Here, can I touch you here?
You know what that is?
No, I don't want to know. That's okay. I'd love to talk, but because you have a piece of... Well, I have somebody suffocating in the trunk.
Hey, let me out here right now. Let me out. Are you going to let me out or not?
It's just a trick, actually. Folks, I would love to say I have a puppet here in the trunk. I don't. It was lost on the airline recently. Legally, I cannot tell you the airline that lost the luggage, but their initials are TWA. So, so I'm needing somebody to volunteer tonight to be my dummy. I need a no, you're too eager. That's not going to work. In fact, somebody backstage had volunteered someone I have not met. He's a stage manager here, and his name is Rack. So, Rack, are you around here somewhere? Where are you? Where is he? Rack, come here. Hurry, I only got 2 more minutes. Come here, Rack. Give him a hand. We've never met. Hang on. No, come over here. No, I want you to stand on the trap door. Right here. Okay. All right. All right. Now, we've never met before in our lives, have we?
I don't know who you are.
Okay. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze the back of your neck. And when you feel all the oxygen and blood rush out of your head, I just want you to drop your jaw, okay? Yep. So, okay. Now, just drop your jaw. Now, bring it up again real fast. And we'll try counting to 10, okay?
Okay.
Okay, that's good. He's getting it. Okay. Just count to 10.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Hang on, Rack. We need to dress you the part. Why don't you take your mic off? Hang on a second. Okay. I got some pieces here. There we go. There we go. All right. Are you feeling more like a dummy? I mean this is a tribute. Okay, now let's try counting again.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
He's a little stiff, don't you think? I mean, would you feel more comfortable if you just stood here and you didn't have to do anything? Just stand here? Would that be better?
Whatever you need.
Whatever I need? Hang on. Because what I got is a mask here. Now, Rack, I can control the jaw. Can you see that? I have a little plunger here that'll make the jaw open and close. So let's take the mask, let's take the hat off here. Hold the hat. Here, all right, okay. Here we go. Over the ears. There you go. Okay, now look up for a second. Now, how does this feel?
This feels good.
Okay, good.
I like this, yes. I'm much more confident now.
You're okay with the clothes?
Oh, yeah, I wear something like this to church.
Okay, good.
Okay, can I do a few jokes now?
A few jokes?
Yeah, why did the chicken cross the road? She wanted to lay it on the line.
I think...
I'm not happy with the direction this is going in.
I'm sorry, Rack. Would you like to do something else?
I could dance like Baryshnikov.
I think we'll skip the dancing.
Okay.
You have to do something else to show off.
Want to see my hernia scar?
No, I don't want to see that. I think maybe you... we need to finish this really quick, folks. This is going to be over in just 1 second.
Yeah, your career.
Thank you. I appreciate you acting this out.
Oh, good. I'm getting good at this, yes. I like this, yes.
We need to finish this in some appropriate way.
How about a song? Yeah, how about a song?
You're putting me on the spot.
Oh, yeah, tough it out. Go ahead.
Can we have a G? Just a G chord, G piano chord?
Now? Now? Oh, good, good. We're going to try something like When You're Smiling. When You're Smiling, yeah, okay. The official theme song of the telethon, okay. When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. I'll take it from here. When you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. A little rhythm here. But when you're crying, you bring on the rain, so stop your sighing. Be happy again. Hang on, band. Give us a drum roll, some triplets or something like that. I got a great idea. If you can, why don't you drop to one knee. We're going to finish this up in style. Yeah, no. Here we go. Oh, when you're smiling, I say when you're smiling. You're doing great, Dak. The whole world smiles with you.
And Rack. You did good, Rack. You did great. Yeah, you go do the cue and let me take Ron Lucas off. How about it, ladies and gentlemen? A real cheer for Ron Lucas. Thank you, Ron. Here's Lisa Gibbons.
Jerry, can you get me somebody over here I can take seriously to be my stage manager? Rack is over. This cannot happen. Rack.
He'll be all right now. just don't look at his mouth.
Good job, Rack. Firefighters, you know, nationwide are spearheading the fight against muscle disease. Right now we want to watch this special message from the International Association of Firefighters.
More than 30 years ago, while Jerry Lewis was starring in the Sad Sack, members of the International Association of Firefighters began to bring hope to children with muscular dystrophy. Well, you know, Jerry adopted those kids. And while the work continues, we'd like to salute Jerry, the firefighters, and the generosity of your community for MDA. Thanks. Firefighters, fighting to save lives through MDA for more than 30 years.
Rack is still a little bit befuddled. Now, Rack, you know this is not where we are in the show. Oh, he's befuddled because we're calling for a timpani. Jerry?
Yeah?
Let's check the tote board. What do you think, pal?
Go ahead, do it, sweetheart.
All right, let's see what we got. I love it when Ed does this part. And 9,218,229.
Good numbers. Good numbers. Back to Lisa.
All right, there are thousands of families like the Miller family who look to MDA for hope. The Miller family actually were seen earlier on our telecast, and we wanted to remind you of them. They are families like these that all of your pledges go to help. We want to urge you to go to your phone and pledge as much as you can. This is a very critical time for MDA-sponsored research. We got to keep this vital work going until we can find a treatment or a cure.
I'm an aircraft maintenance technician. I'm stationed up at Eielson Air Force Base, Alaska. I work on the OA-10 aircraft. These are multi-million-dollar jets to maintain and upkeep. I'm married, and we have a little son named Jason. Jason is also a multi-million-dollar kid.
We met and got married, and we had a son. Jason was slow at, the normal things like crawling. And we found out that Jason has Duchenne muscular dystrophy. That was very difficult.
There's right now, no known cure for the disease. And anybody or any family can get it. We went back through both our family generations, and nobody in the families had it, and it just kind of popped up in our family, so it could happen to anybody at any time. Jason enjoys playing with kids, especially out of school. He's mainstreaming into a regular class.
He cannot get out there and run with the kids. We have to watch him closer a little bit because he does fall down frequently now.
Jason loves to go outside and have fun, play in the snow or romp around, but he's getting more and more impossible for him to do it at this time.
Jason loves to go fishing, and he goes as often as Ron is able to take him.
A father would like to have his son grow up to be a baseball player, football player, or just somebody to go fishing with. Jason's going to be going into a wheelchair eventually. Going through snow or ice up here, it's going to be really hard for him.
We were immediately put in contact with the MDA people. They're very supportive, and we have MDA clinics up here, and the doctors all are there, and the therapists are there. They have different fun things for the kids that they can do, like summer camp, and it's kind of a second family. Each day, you know, you hope and you pray that, you know, they're getting closer in their research. And we know the prognosis of what Duchenne does, and they normally do not live a long life, maybe into their teens. They've made a lot of progress in the research field, and I guess being a mother and waiting for the day that they'll say, okay, we found it and we can fix it now.
And I hope they get a cure so future families don't have to go through the same situation as my wife and I have.
Can't never give up hope that there will be a cure found one day. But if not for Jason's, at least for the other children.
We'll get the cure for Jason and the other children. Now we will entertain you, ladies and gentlemen, by presenting to you one of the brightest new comedians in the business, Mr. Brett Leake. Please join me in welcoming Brett Leake. Hi, Brett.
Thank you very much. What a delight to be with you. My name is Brett Leake, and let me make a quick mention to the people watching at home who just watched me walk out. Please don't be concerned. The problem is not in your set. I'm experiencing technical difficulties beyond my control. I have a type of muscular dystrophy, facioscapulohumeral syndrome. It's rather difficult to explain to children, though, so I have to put it in terms they'll understand. A little fella saw me walking one day and said, "Why do you snap in and out of shape like that?" I said, "I'm a transformer. If I get tired of walking, I turn into a dune buggy." Thank you. Staying here at the Sahara, a wonderful place to be. Last night at Motel 6. I love Motel 6. The rooms are so bare you never leave anything behind. You own everything in the room. If the room's empty, you're packed. I've seen more furniture in recovery rooms. Why are hotel showers so tough to use? At home, it's easy. 2 knobs, twist these, you've struck water. In a hotel, there's a single dial with a combination. You're the safe cracker. You turn it to the left, to the right, push in, pull out, listen for tumblers falling in place. I called the manager. I hate to bother you. I'm locked out of the bathtub. And that shower massage shower head, invigorating on your back, but turn around and face it. This Gatling gun has you holed up behind the soap dish. Push, 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 push. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Try to block them all, but you're always 2 behind. Not a good time to be a mouth breather. The towel rack is inside the shower. Good idea. Those towels are absorbent. I tried off with a shower curtain. And the soap is this big. All for me? What's the deal here? When soap gets this size around my house, we throw it away. Now I know where it goes. Motel 6, we'll leave the light on for you, 'cause the switch is broken. You see, I don't complain about important things because I don't even have the little ones figured out yet. My car has a warning light for the battery. If the battery is weak, a light comes on, draining the remaining energy from the car. If the light goes out, the battery is stronger. Or dead. You make the call. I think I need new shocks. The other day, I turned on my windshield wipers and the car flipped over. Oh, and get a load of this. My cruise control has a decelerate button. I can slow down without the brake lights coming on. I know that's a feature the cars behind me appreciate. Honey, that guy we've been following is coming right at us! On the way in, I saw a Salvation Army 18-wheel tractor trailer. Who gave them that? I gave him a belt. Who gave him a truck? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I've had a wonderful time. Keep them ringing. Go get them, Jerry.
Okay, we got living proof right here that with a little tenacity, will not take no for an answer, believes in everything that I do, believes in everything that this association does. He's as good a stand-up comic as you'll ever see anywhere at any time. And I hope that you know that you were booked on this show specifically for one reason. You happen to be damn good. You also happen to be one of my kids. It just worked out terrific for everybody.
I like that combination, Jerry.
I like that combination, Brett. God bless you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Good luck. Thank you. Where's Lisa? Lisa's on tape.
How easy it is to make a child's dreams come true. Dreams of independence, of old pals, of fun and new experiences. Only a few dollars can mean the difference. The difference between an empty pool and one filled with happy kids enjoying a week of fun and friends at camp, MDA Summer Camp. MDA Camp means a caring staff, lots of attention, activities that are fun and educational, plenty of nutritious food, and don't forget the special needs of MDA's physically challenged kids who need to be turned at night and who need assistance to get out of bed in the morning to get ready for a day of swimming and crafts and eating and baseball and fishing and eating and dancing and singing and, of course, eating. Last year, you generously supported 77 summer camps located all across the United States, including Puerto Rico. How much did all of that cost? Only $350 per child. What a bargain. $350 covers everything: food, volunteer attendance, counselors, medical personnel, and transportation. $350 a kid. It's not much, but multiply it by the thousands of kids MDA sends to camp every year, and it adds up pretty fast. Hey, if you can send MDA $350 to sponsor one child, well, that's great. But remember, any amount you send keeps kids coming to camp, lets kids be kids. So phone in your pledge now by calling the number that you see on your screen. When somebody asks you where the money goes, you tell them you know exactly where your pledge went. It went into some great big smiles.
Oh, hi there. Isn't that amazing? I never even knew that the damn camera was on. And I was over there talking to our stage manager, Debbie, my little precious Debbie there. What is it? There'll be no soliciting here, lady. I love you too, sweetheart. I love all people that are healthy and strong and come here and root for us. We're delighted. She's oversexed, but you're at least a lady that... Thank you. The Muscular Dystrophy Association would like to thank Sony Magnetic Products of America for their generous contributions of video, tape products used in the production of this program. And I would like to thank Paul and Sue Loudon for contributing their fabulous Sahara Hotel for this telethon. It's a great, great convention center. Our show is coming from its grand ballroom. So thank you again, Sue and Paul, and a special thanks to your terrific staff. The staff at the Sahara Hotel are the best. They cannot do enough for us. You know, it goes all the way through, and usually I have found that it usually starts at the top. If the top man has sensitivity, emotions, and feelings, it runs all through the organization. We have dealers in the casino. They're going to take your money, and you look at them and you wonder, do they really care? They happen to be human beings that are doing the kind of a job that is terrific when we win, and they're Heinrich Himmlers when we lose. They're really sensational people, and that goes for everyone in the casino, the entire production staff of the Sahara Hotel, the room service people, the waiters, the busboys, the people that park the cars. The entire operation make us so welcome. Our entire staff that's housed here at the hotel are made so welcome and made to feel so at home that we can't do anything but do a great show. And the only thing they ask from us in return for what they give to us is for us to let you know they are here. And that's not bad. They give us, we give them. And that's what makes the world go round. So I'm asking you, ladies and gentlemen, to make your phone calls, make your pledge, and then please honor it. You will help make the world go round. It may not touch your lives right now, but it may touch your lives in the future. And we are trying to expedite your being healthy and your children being healthy. What are you making? I'm talking and you're waving your hand. You gotta go? Go ahead. The ladies' room is just to the left as you go out that door. Mention my name, you'll get a good seat. Hey! We want you to take a good look at the local station. We'll be back shortly with more show, more information, and more wonderful people. Thank you for being with us. We'll be back. Here's your local station to tell you what's happening out there.
Talent executive for the Jerry Lewis Muscular Dystrophy Telethon. And behind me is my team and my gang. That's Debbie, and that's John, and the blonde girl. Well, she's been with me for 22 years, but I can't think of her last name, so we'll just call her Face.
We'd like to ask you to call in your pledge now. Have your American Express, Visa, MasterCard, or Discover card in hand when you call.
If you use your American Express card, American Express will donate an extra $1 to MDA.
Please call the number on your screen or 1-800-FIGHT-MD.
Yeah, would you please remember that? 1-800-FIGHT, F-I-G-H-T, MD. Thank you.
This is the MDA Telethon Network.
Some people think I'm disabled, but I'm not. I'm dying of ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. My MDA clinic provides the health services and assistive devices I need to stay as healthy and independent as possible. The Muscular Dystrophy Association research gives me the hope to keep fighting. If MDA finds a cure, I may be disabled, but at least I'll be alive.
You know, when you're a performer and people see you on TV or the movies or they hear your voice on radio, they sometimes get the idea that, well, that's your line of work and you do it because it brings in a paycheck. Well, that's not always the case. I don't mean to brag, but I am sharing the set right now with two great performers that I've been privileged to work with, two really great guys. Ed McMahon, who we know from some of the best shows on television, Star Search, I got to plug in.
Please, Star Search.
And of course, The Tonight Show. And the man who taught America how to count to 40
That's right.
backwards.
Backwards, that's right.
Casey Kasem. When Labor Day rolls around, you can be sure that their wives, their family, they know where they're going to be and who they're going to share the holiday with. And both of these men are so well known that neither of them really needs publicity. So we know that you're not in it for that. Why do they volunteer every Labor Day weekend for Jerry Lewis and the Muscular Dystrophy Association? This is 20, we said it was over 27 years.
I think it's over 27 years. I'll tell you how it started. Jerry was hosting. He was the substitute host on The Tonight Show for a week.
Right.
And we got to be pals. It was one of those things I didn't know him that well, but in a week's time, working every night, we had dinner a couple of nights. And all of us, by the Friday night, we are the bosom buddies. So he said to me, I'm doing this telethon. I want you to come over. So I said, all right. So I went over to the Americana Hotel, and I'm standing around in the back, and it was fairly well organized, but not anywhere like it is now. And all of a sudden, he introduced, here he is, Ed McMahon. I come up, I sit down, and he asked me about two questions. He said, Ed, I got to go to the bathroom so bad. Would you take over? And he leaves me, right? Now, I don't even know where the cameras are. I don't know anything. So I, being a performer, you know, I look and I see, you know, so-and-so, the three charms, whatever they are. And here they are, lady, you know, a great pointer. I can handle that. You know, here they are, the three charms. And, you know, there we go, right? So I do about an hour. Now, he's supposed to be at the bath. Now, I look over. Here he is on the sidelines like this. You know, like, you're doing a good job. Oh, yeah. Go ahead. So I wind up doing it like with him. He came back, of course, but I did about 3 hours. Then the next year, I think that's when we went national, because we're out in Vegas, and I did about 6 hours with him. And then he said, I know that went on for a couple of years. Then one year he said, boy, he said, you know what I wish? I said, what? He said, I wish you'd do the whole show with me. I says, I will. You never asked me. And since then, whatever that was, 20-something years ago, I've been doing the whole show with him ever since.
Now, they were not in those days. Telethon wasn't part of the vocabulary before it went national, right? Is this the daddy, the grand?
Oh,
is
yes,
this the one they're all measured
he created the whole concept.
of
Yes,
what it's measured up against? And you're 10 years?
You know, actually, Jesse, it was 12 years. And my story isn't as dramatic as Ed's, or nearly as funny, but actually, somebody had called asking for my services about 3 or 4 years before that, but a secretary just assumed that I was too busy and said, oh no, he couldn't do that, he's much too busy. So I would have much loved to have been on, I would really love to have been on much sooner, but somebody said, was speaking for me and said the wrong things.
Now, I know you all have special memories of telethons past, and probably that will tell us how deep Jerry's commitment is to the cause, and they show how emotionally involved he is with what they call his kids. What are some of those memories?
Well, of course, I think it's such a marriage of the entertainment qualities and then the emotion. And he's always said that he wants to entertain first, get their attention, and then tell the story. You know, get them to reach in their pocketbook and get involved. And that marriage is so wonderful. You think of the highlights, like I remember Sinatra had confided to me about a month before, he said, I'm going to pull a fast one on Jerry. I'm going to bring Dean Martin out when I'm out to do my thing. He said, don't tell anybody. So only about 4 people knew that. I was one of them. And when Martin walked out, you know, and walks up to Jerry and says, so, what have you been doing? I mean, that was one of the great lines in show business. So, what have you been doing? Anyway, that. But then there were moments, and they were always so touching to me, is when something happens out of the blue. Nobody planned it. It's like a very emotional moment. Like Peter Kelly. Do you remember that?
Yes,
the moment?
Yes.
That was incredible.
I don't know how I can say really anything to the person who, more than any other individual in the world, is leading the fight to save the lives of my children. I don't know how to say thanks for that, but I hope you'll accept them with all the love that I have to give you. Thank you, Jerry.
And then there was little Ben Terraberry.
I want you to see Ben Terraberry, who was our poster child, who stood up to applaud for this courageous hero, Jim Grigsby. He stood up, and he doesn't have that easy a time doing that. Ben Terraberry, this child, stood up for this courageous hero. Now, what do you want to talk about? Thank you, Ben, my darling. And the tears in his eyes are real, by the way.
And remember his dance with Mary Pasalacqua?
I never dreamed the day would come when I could once again climb a flight of stairs and return to my normal activities. I have had the privilege of observing what can only be described as a medical miracle. God bless you, Jerry. P.S. My dream is to dance with you.
I have never been the part or anywhere near seeing a dream come true. And that's heavy, but I'm going to see it come true for a lady now.
And you'll see the real Jerry Lewis when he's got a baby in his arms.
Alex is a healthy baby. She's strong. She's a little porker. You want to say something? You want Grandpa to talk on it?
Grandpa will do anything you want, sweetheart.
I need that to do the show.
He's also a healthy baby, another porker that's going to grow up to be a marvelous human being. And isn't that the way it's supposed to be? Isn't that the way it was meant to be?
Wow, can you imagine the physical and emotional energy that that man has expended over the 40 years that he's been doing this?
Well, through the years, he's always said, I remember in his autobiography, he said, working 18 hours a day is exhilarating and keeps me young and healthy.
How does he do it?
I know he's got incredible energy, and also to follow something like that. That's what I mean about that marriage of entertainment and that incredible emotion. You could hear in his voice when he walked over to, before he walked over to dance with Mary. You hear that in his voice, but then later on he's going crazy. You know, he's got his nose up to the camera, he's trying to get money, he's hitting somebody in the back of the head, he can't remember the cameraman's name, pretending he really knows those cameraman's name, but he walks around and goes wacko. And then he can do an emotional piece and solemn and quiet.
And there were parts of that that were even sexy.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I knew a friend in Detroit. I remember we'd seen Jerry Lewis and Dean at the Fox Theater, and she thought he was the sexiest man alive.
Yeah.
But he's best when he acts like he's 9 years old.
Oh, yes.
And he's best when he acts like he's a man who is full of wisdom and philosophy, and he's very good, and as you know, profound when he begins to speak about something that he believes in and has conviction for and tells us about. And that's
one of the
Muscular
great
Dystrophy.
moments when he with the band with the chorus. You know, the chorus that sings
you mean
what do they call it?
The tall
cedars.
Tall cedars.
They all wear those hats, you know, the little fez and the thing. And he gets in there. He's wearing a hat. He's playing the trumpet. He's got the blackened out teeth. I mean, he's like, just as you said, a little kid. He's a little kid, but it's entertaining and it's wonderful.
It's a clown. You know, I think it feels like you're going to burst into song. I have to agree with what you said. In my opinion, Jerry invented the buddy system single-handedly, and there are plenty of moments from telethons past that prove how many friends this man has. Wouldn't you say that just about everybody who's been a big star has been on that telethon?
Everyone.
And people love him not only for his humanity, but for his talent, too. He's probably one of the most talented people in the whole world today. And if I can carry it one step further, there's a great line, a great thought that Khalil Gibran, the poet, and you quote Gibran a lot, I know, said, and I think it applies to Jerry, this thought, and it's, keep me away from wisdom that does not cry, from philosophy that does not laugh, and from greatness that does not bow before children. That's Jerry. And I think that goes to some of the qualities that the man has that endears everybody in America who's ever watched a telethon to this giant man in our industry and humanitarian.
I don't know of anyone that was asked that hasn't participated from the highest level. You take Richard Burton, anyone, there's a list of them that's unbelievable. Burt Reynolds, they're all there. They all show up. They all participate. Ed Asner.
You introduced me?
Yes.
I'll tell the jokes.
Oh. Whose?
I was...
I dress up when I'm going to be with you, Frank. That's what I want you to know. When I'm with you, sweetheart, I go
He
top
has
drawer.
no pants on. Just his shorts.
What are you, crazy? A man's got to sing something.
Oh, not the new clubs, Jerry! Not the new clubs! Wait a minute, no, I'll get it. No kidding.
Of Camelot.
See what I mean? Over the years, every big name in show business has turned out to be with Jerry Lewis on Labor Day and to do this special show for Jerry's kids. He's had the biggest lineup of stars ever assembled on one show. And he does it year after year after year. That's a lot of talent and a lot of caring and a little levity. What are some of the funny moments that you remember?
Well, you know, the thing that he does when he pretends that he's someone else. We had a fellow that came out. You remember Joe Piscopo?
Oh, sure.
Did an imitation of him as the nutty kid, you know, with the glass and everything. And he came out. And then they had a little Joe Piscopo Jr. Did you see that year?
That was
now,
fun.
he came out, and he's being his father and Jerry Lewis all combined.
Wait,
he's
you moved
walking
that
on his
back.
ankles.
He called
the
me
black and-
over. Wait a second. Get over by where he wanted me. Where's the card? He said, no, would you let me through here, you dummy? I have to work. Here, just move. Why are you jumping around? Can't you have a pedestal like he? Where's Larry? Oh, it's Harry? What is your name? Harry. Hi, Harry. I'm Jerry. Glad to see you. How's the family? Wonderful. You don't scare me. What you say?
If there's any of you folks out in television that have a phone, if you could call the studio and tell my lighting director that the damn lights are a pain in the tuchus, I'd like to get them all taken out, see? Hello?
It's delightful, delicious, it's the lovely.
I've got you under my skin. I've got you deep in the heart of me. So deep in my heart, you're really a part of me. I've got you under my skin.
Are there times when he broke you up, too?
Oh, sure. He would love to do that. Some of them I can't mention on family television.
Yes, you can. Clean it
well,
up and
he
tell
does
us.
a funny thing. It's let me see if I can explain it. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but sometimes in the front of a man's pants, there's a little device called a zipper. And oftentimes he will open that part, and he'll reach in and pull his shirt out. And well, you have to see it. You have to be there. But yeah, that breaks me up. Especially if I'm right in the middle of a very serious piece I'm doing, and he's standing by the camera and doing that. Sometimes that can tickle your risibility.
How do you keep a straight face, though?
That's a good question. You know, I remember the first time I did something, and I was doing my first introduction. It was my first show, and Jerry came up. And he started nibbling on my ear and doing all crazy. And I said, no, I'm not going to break. I'm going to get through this. I've got to get through this. And I did. I don't know how it happened. It was like the first time I ever saw Jerry Lewis. It was at war with the Army, and I'd heard so much about him and how wonderful he was and how funny he was. Went to the theater, and I remember exactly where it was, the Dexter Theater on Dexter Avenue in Detroit, and I sat there, and for the whole thing, I just sat there and I said, then I got on the bus on the way home, and I started laughing.
Yeah.
And they thought I was crazy because I wanted him to prove to me he was funny, and he was so funny it was contained, and then I exploded on the bus, and people thought I was insane. But
you know, all kidding aside, I think it's great the way people turn out, and they do this because they love Jerry and they want to help, and they also, I think it makes you feel good, and people want to do something that makes them feel good. That's the kind of feeling that Jerry inspires in others, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, have you seen people who've been through this on a Labor Day, and at the end what their feeling is?
We have what we call our family, you know, like Maureen McGovern, Lorna Luff. People that, you know, just every year they show up, they're available. Whatever you want to do, they're there. Julius La Rosa, all these people that just, we're here, you know, whatever it is. And Julie, here's a guy that flies all the way out from New York, interrupts his schedule to come out, and he's there in the wee small hours. You know, when we take a little break, when I take a break, or Johnny, Johnny, listen to me, I'm still saying Johnny, when Jerry takes a break, he will come in and do his song. I mean, he's not proud. It's not a big, he's singing at 3 o'clock in the morning. He's happy to do that because he's part of the family. Now, there are dozens and dozens of people like that.
The people are there for the right reason. They're there because they really want to do something for muscular dystrophy and for people who have it.
Do you know there's still people who believe that the people who are doing this, we are doing it for money? Do you know there are people who say, what are you going to earn over Labor Day? Or what does Ed get? Or what is
a terrible story about him in Cleveland. Once a disc jockey went on the air and said he gets this much money, and oh, of course he gets... And Jerry went to the town with his manager and confronted him. And they put a huge ad this big in the newspaper, the Cleveland Plain Dealer, apologizing for this, you know, ridiculous thing that the person had said. And he realized he was saying what he was saying while he was saying it. I guess it was to get publicity, but he did apologize, the station did, and not too many people realize it. Jerry doesn't make a quarter.
I know, but you have to say it each year. You have to, because there's always somebody who, we've reached the point in this country, we're so cynical.
I know.
We really are. Nobody would believe, Ed, that you'd leave your bar. They think you're out barbecuing, and they couldn't believe you'd leave unless there had be some reason. And they don't understand. Why do you do it?
Well, I do it. As I said, I came in kind of the back door. It was not a thing of dedication with me like it is with Jerry. That incident I mentioned about doing an hour and all of a sudden 3 hours and then 6 hours and then the whole thing.
But you didn't have to do it every year.
No, I didn't have to do it. But he asked me. And when I got involved in the cause, I really got involved. In fact, my oldest daughter, Claudia, for about 3 years, her job, she took the poster child around in the wheelchair for personal appearances. And they had a special van that she drove, and they had that drop piece that would come down, and they'd wheel the wheel and lift her up. And so my daughter did all that for about 3 years. She wanted to be involved. And you just get caught up in it. What I love about the fact that what this has done, this telethon, aside from all the money we've raised, let's say we've raised $500 million. I don't know what it is, but a lot of money. But you know what it is? When you go into a town, no matter where you are, and you come to the edge of the sidewalk, and there's that ramp for the wheelchair people, they can get up on that sidewalk. And you go into a men's room, or a lady, you go in, and there's equipment there to help people. Someone, up till that time, no one thought about that. No one cared about that.
I wish we had more time so we can go on with these stories for the next couple of hours. And this is a lot of fun. And I saw things that I had never seen. And then I remember seeing some when I sit in front of the television and watch the telethon, like a walk down memory lane with the two guys who know Jerry and the telethon best. So thank you very much for sharing all this with us, Casey and Ed. We are going back to Jerry and his guests in Las Vegas, where some new memories are now in the making right now.
I believe in committing myself to what's important in my life, my family, my job, and finding a cure for Becker dystrophy, the disease that's disabling me. I know that there's just one agency working on that, the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Sure, I believe in disability rights, but what's important to me is that MDA is working hard to find a cure for me. Without it, I won't be here to fight for what's important in my life.
We're live from the city that never sleeps, Las Vegas. This is the 1992 Jerry Lewis Muscular Dystrophy Association Labor Day Telethon. And here is the tireless fighter for his kids,
the national chairman of the Muscular Dystrophy Association, Jerry Lewis.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and a very pleasant good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 10th hour, our 10th hour of 1992 Muscular Dystrophy Telethon. We have tried to inform you along the way. We try to give you information relative to why my kids need your help. We try to let you know about the medical community and the good work they're doing. We also try to entertain you. We shall do the very best we can. But I first must thank Major General Thomas Griffiths, Commanding General of Nellis Air Force Base here in Las Vegas, and to Chief Master Sergeant Ardell Galbraith, that made it possible for a marvelous group of enlisted men and women to volunteer their time for our telethon. It is our hope for this telethon that we would bring you the brightest and best of the new talent in the business today, and that's why we're about to introduce to you the very talented Miss Kathy Buckley, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome her.
Thank you. Yes, it's true. I am hearing impaired. No, I am not deaf. I just don't listen. Get a load of this. This is my brand new hearing aid. It's computerized now. I have the hearing aids in my ears, and this is my remote control. I am not in control of your laughter. This baby cost me $4,000. $4,000, and I'm thinking for another $1,000 I could have had that boob job. When I was born RH negative, and then a couple years later I developed spinal meningitis. The doctors told my family, quote, that I would be a slow learner and that I would not grow to be any taller than 5'2". And I was in a school for retardation for 2 years before they found out it was just a hearing loss, and they called me slow. Thank you. People think that my hearing impairment is a handicap. Me, whenever I'm with the Italian side of my family, we're talking a perfect gift here. One of the first signs that I did learn as a child was good morning. And I got to tell you, as a kid, I was so excited that I could communicate that at the very next family reunion, I went up to everybody and I signed, "Good morning." I spent a good 13 years with some of the top speech therapists in this country just learning how to talk so people would understand me, and now they all think I'm from New York. My hearing impairment is not my handicap. Being sexually frustrated, now there's a handicap. I've not had a date in 3 years, and I don't know if it's because I haven't heard the phone ring or what. You guys want to hear some good news? Good news is they did come out with hearing aids for my particular hearing loss, and I have been hearing new sounds now for the last 4 years. Thank you. That's for you, God. I love you. I have thanked God and every little Japanese man that crosses my path. Isn't that true? We all pass judgments. And 9 times out of 10 when we pass a judgment, it's a negative concept, correct? Well, I passed a judgment on a very lovely lady about 6 months ago. I was invited to Washington, D.C. to perform at the Kennedy Center for some kind of an award presentation. I didn't know what it was all about. But I had to go to the green room, and the green room is where they keep everybody that's going to be on stage, and you have to be quiet in this room. I went into the green room, and I saw a woman in a wheelchair. She was a quadriplegic. My first judgment I passed upon her was, oh my God, what kind of a life is this? She can't move, she can't talk, she has nothing to contribute to society. But me being who I am, I went up to her and I said, hi, how are you? She started to open her eyes. When she opened her eyes really wide, her assistant came up to me and she said, when she opens her eyes, it means yes. When she closes her eyes, it means no. I said, great, I spent my whole life learning how to read lips, now I got to go to school for some eyelids over here. The woman in the wheelchair started to laugh. It was a horrendous sound, but to me it was the most beautiful sound I ever heard, because I realized right then and there I can communicate with her. She sounded like this. Now, what better person to tell all your jokes to that can't heckle you? So here I am in the corner in the room with Helen. All you can hear is this, and I'm going, come on, Helen, let's go dancing. We don't need this place. And she's, and you hear the people in the corner going, get the deaf broad away from the quad. That night, Helen received an award. She wrote 2 top-selling books with a blink of an eye. With today's technology, she has the computer with the letters lit up, the wire attached to her eyelids. She sees the letters she wants, she blinks her eyes, and it goes into the computer. 2 top-selling books. I haven't even read a book yet. I graduated from high school with a 1-point average. Nobody bothered to tell me we were collecting points. After the show, Helen had a computer printout for me, and it said on it, thank you so much for making me laugh. But more than anything else, thank you for treating me like you would have treated anyone else. I took that piece of paper and I wrote on the back of it and I handed it to her. And I said, here, that's my bill. That's how I treat everybody. She, Before you know it, around the corner comes a gentleman who's in a wheelchair. He has cerebral palsy. He has no 2 front teeth. Me being who I am, where the heck are your teeth? The man starts to laugh. It's her husband. She's married. I couldn't believe it. I looked at her straight in the eye and I said, Helen, you know what? I came in here tonight and I felt sorry for you because I thought I couldn't live your life if I was in your situation. Here you wrote 2 top-selling books. I can't read. You're married. I can't even get a date. I said, I hope you get pink eyes. The moral of the story is pass no judgment upon someone you wouldn't want passed upon yourself. Because believe me when I tell you, there are no limits as to what we can do with our lives. Now, nobody can do anything alone. And that's why we need you to make those pledges. It's really important to understand. I pass no judgment upon Jerry Lewis for having an incredible dream to find a cure for muscular dystrophy. It's a terrible disease to have. But I, for one, know that dreams come true because muscular dystrophy helps assist people in making those dreams come true by making them able-bodied people, making them acceptable to society. We have an incredible new law, the ADA law, and it's going to make an incredible impact in this country. Thank you so much for your time, and God bless. Make your pledges. Thank you. Thank you.
About a year ago, a representative for Kathy sent me a tape. So we'd like you to look at it. And I did. And there was a note hoping you will find it in your heart to use Kathy to the best of your ability and allow her to use her platform to perform on this telethon. Our producer, Lee Miller, and our casting director, Eddie Foy, and myself sat down and said, she's an extraordinary lady, and she's going to be marvelous, and we're going to use her on the show, and she's going to bring a message to the people that we could never bring. The message is simple. She has a disability, and she's beaten it, and she's made us all pay attention to her talent, her sense of humor, and her lust for life. That's what this program is about.
Amen.
Thank you. Kathy Buckley. Lisa.
You know, Jerry, I watched Kathy while she was doing her bit, and she is so funny, but so able to communicate, particularly with this audience here with us in Vegas. And with I know a lot of you who are watching at home, because they know what that feels like. You know, to feel like you want to communicate something, you want people to understand. There are a lot of folks who are staying up with us tonight, people in the audience, Jerry's kids, the people that we are reaching out, that we're trying to get this money that is needed to do important research. They will be up all night long. They'll be here tomorrow until we sign off the air. And when you spend this amount of time with those people, it becomes very clear while we are here, and we have a wonderful time, and we we love Jerry and we enjoy the time we spend together, but it does put it all into focus and make us realize what it is we're doing here at almost 3 o'clock. Earlier tonight, you met somebody named P.J. Dixon, and P.J. has been introducing us throughout the telethon to some very exciting young people. And my pal DJ is PJ is on his mark again over there now, and Jerry's going to turn the mic over to him so we can meet some more folks.
Thank you, Lisa. Okay, PJ, you're on.
Thank you, Jerry. Jay, it's my pleasure to introduce to you two fabulous representatives from Manalapan High School in New Jersey, Staten Island. This is Laina Ham and Alyssa Goldstein.
How are you? I'm happy to know you both. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Hold that close to you. Atta girl.
Thank you. Jerry, I just want you to know that before I became a member of the Manalapan High School National Honor Society, I truly was not aware of the extent of help the Muscular Dystrophy Association or the National Honor Society dedicated towards helping others. For the past 9 years, with the help of a very committed advisor, Mr. Peter Uvino, and with the help of a very committed advisor, Mr. Peter Uvino, Manalapan High School has found many different ways to fundraise. With money obtained from a super dance and with combined proceeds from canister drives, donut and candy sales, celebrity auctions, and donations made by area merchants, Manalapan High School continues to be one of the top fundraising public high schools in the nation. And we as a school are certain that all the work that we do towards helping you guys out, we know that it hasn't been taken for granted when we see how much the association has dedicated towards making the lives of its clients more enjoyable and more comfortable.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I've had this rash for about 3 months, but I'm okay. Go ahead, sweetheart.
On March 22nd, I met some of your clients at the Super Dance, and they helped it make the success that it was.
Relax.
I'm trying.
It's okay. Relax. And you raised money at the Super Dance.
Yeah, we did.
And you have the check in your hand.
I do.
And you're going to give it to me.
Well, wait, I have something to say in the middle. What was
If you're
it?
having trouble saying it, screw it. Give me the check.
No, wait, I got it. All right, here we go. Wait, I got it.
We have we have a whole show to do, sweetheart.
All right. A group of caring and energetic teenagers dance the night away for your kids. So, this is what you're waiting for. On behalf of the administration, Jennifer Whedon, our program director, and especially Mr. Peter Uvino, I am proud to present to you this check for $44,000.
Well, thank you. Okay, we got the 44,000. God bless you.
That was good, you guys.
I hope you, ladies and gentlemen, understand that when I play with some of these kids or when I kibitz with them, it really does relax them in some cases, and in others, they get catatonic. There's a new frontier in science called gene therapy. It's the most exciting, newest development in medicine in our recent history. And the Muscular Dystrophy Association is funding the top scientific teams in the world pioneering this research. Dr. John Wolfe is one of MDA's leading gene therapy scientists, and here is his story.
The basic problem of children with genetic diseases is they have a bad gene that's not working right. And so a simple idea would be to just give them the good gene. Then the normal good gene can make the good protein that the patient is missing. And it has the potential for being a total cure. Think about two ways we treat diseases now. One is by giving medicine, and the other one is by surgery. Gene therapy is sort of going to be the third approach in general for treating diseases. The ability to go in and put the gene into these cells promises to revolutionize medical care. It's going to have far-reaching implications for really treating a wide variety of diseases like cancer and heart disease. There is an extended group or family of scientists that are receiving grants from Muscular Dystrophy Association that are interested in muscle diseases, and many of them would not necessarily be doing the excellent work they're doing without that funding. A friend of my 3-year-old daughter has just been diagnosed with Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, and I at least would expect that 3-year-old should have a chance to be helped with this new gene transfer technology.
No, I'm here. I was just cleaning up a little bit, you know. Oh, yes. We want to acknowledge the James Way stores who have been raising funds for the Muscular Dystrophy Association since 1979. Their 1992 efforts will bring their 14th year total to almost $1.5 million. So we thank you, James Way, very, very, very much. Now, we would like to entertain you with our guests who are now performing at the Aladdin Hotel here in town, and they're hot. Please welcome Jim Barnes's Country Tonight. Here they are.
We got you old country, new country, long as it's true country. We love to do country music from the heartland of America. Now all you country, true country, red, white, and blue country. We love to do country music, it's the people's choice. Country chicks, they let you live and I don't care. As long as country music is a trip to the air. We love to take the country ride. Yeah, we're all going country tonight. We're going country tonight. What do you say? Have you ever rock and roll today? When we do the Texas two-step, everything is all right. Texas two-step, everything is all right.
We're all going country tonight.
We're going country tonight. Whoa, whoa. Country tonight. Whoa, whoa. Let the family ride. We're all going country tonight.
Thank you very much. Right now, I'd like for you to meet a grand champion yodeler from Norton, Kansas. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Karen D. Brownlee.
Way down in Columbus, Georgia, wandering back to Tennessee. Way down in Columbus, Georgia, way to turn your back on me. I'll go and leave you if you won't. Never let me cross your mind in your heart. And love another, please love that don't mind.
Mr. John Burnett from Branson, Missouri. Well, if you like good fiddle playing, you're going to love this next young fellow. From San Antonio, Texas, please welcome Mr. Vance Davenport.
That's a lot of talent up there. Country tonight. Thank you all very, very much. We'll see you all at the Aladdin. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, Lisa, my darling.
We had a regular hoedown going here, Jerry.
Yeah, hot damn anyhow.
I didn't know you could clog like that.
Oh, my God.
Unbelievable. I want to get you focused in on something right now. You know, there are some people who really don't listen to the word no. They just make up their minds and they go ahead and do what they love, no matter what. Well, Scott Schneider is an Olympic gold medalist many times over, but his Olympic victories are very special because those medals were won in international competitions for persons with disabilities. Here's his story, a story about winning in spite of the odds.
I had been selected to represent the United States at the Paralympic Games over in Seoul, Korea.
after I came back from Korea with 18 gold medals, 2 silver medals, and 1 bronze medal. When I was younger and I was growing up, I played a lot of sports. I was on the basketball team when I was 14 years old at school, and the coach of the basketball team, he said, well, you just don't seem to move like you should. They found out at that point that I had muscular dystrophy. I met Patricia at a party, and I remember the first time that I took Patricia out on a date. I told her everything that was going on in my life, the things that could potentially happen in my future.
I was probably young enough at that point in my life that I didn't really think that much about the future and what ultimately Scott's fate, I hate to use the word fate because it sounds so negative. What I've seen happen to Scott in the last 9 years, the progression that his disease has taken, it is quite frightening.
I have Becker muscular dystrophy. This year, for the first time in 11 years, I'm not playing wheelchair basketball. I'm the head coach of the team because my muscles really can't perform the way I need them to perform.
Scott and I will never let this disability stop us from doing anything that we want, which is exactly why we've bought a house. It's a lot of work, and are about to have a child, which I know is going to be a great deal of work.
I have always wanted to have a family, but with me gallivanting all around the country and the world playing sports, you know, we really weren't ready to settle down and have our kids.
It's very, very unfortunate that Scott's not going to be able to do the things that everyone else does with their children. He can't go to the grocery store. Something as simple as that, and there's just absolutely no way. He's not strong enough to push a cart around and do all of that.
That I think about the possibility of maybe reaching a point where I won't be able to earn an income and I won't be able to support my family.
And the things that I compensate for will become greater and greater as time goes on. When he no longer can put his socks on and button his shirts, those things are going to happen.
If my muscular dystrophy continues to progress, then we'll all just deal with that together. I see myself getting weaker, and I want a cure.
We have great promise in the things that Muscular Dystrophy Association are doing, the research that's being done, and I pray to God that some of this will help Scott.
And I think that I'll be a good father. But I wish I was able to stand up and, you know, walk with my child. I won't be able to do that. So my child will just have to learn that, you know, his or her father uses a wheelchair to get around.
We have probably, well, I would suspect the best production staff that any man could ever be blessed with. I make that proclamation now because we're at 6:15 in New York, and the young people are getting up, the little people, the ones that I really depend on. At 5:15 in Chicago, they move around pretty good then too. And I would like to mention that the reason that I refer to this production team is because they work all year with me, prepping this program. I've got the best technicians on this floor that can be found in any broadcasting facility, CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox, you name it. They're never going to get the quality and the caliber of the talent that I have in this studio. Now, these are technicians that have studied their craft over the years, and I'm talking about the cameramen that are rarely acknowledged, the sound men that are rarely acknowledged, our spot men, our lighting people. All of the people that really get together, and the one thing I will say about them is that they look to the fearless leader. What's his attitude? They do recognize my passion. They recognize where my heart is coming from. They have plenty of time to peruse me, as it were, and to check me out long before airtime. The compliment that I get from them is when we get on the air, they knock their butts off to give me the best possible craftsman-like job that can be called marvelous broadcasting. So I wanted to make this pronouncement now, rather than in the late hours when we are rushed. I am grateful to all of you. I am appreciative of your work. I know how to do what you do, so I know how tough it is. And I respect your work and the fact that you learned it so well. And I'm proud to be a part of this production, starting with my producer, Lee Miller, and right down through the entire operation. I thank you all very much. Lisa, it's yours, baby.
I'm really glad you did that, Jerry, because you say those things to us off camera and how much you love them and how much you appreciate them, and it's really nice to be acknowledged, to have them acknowledged before this audience. We've got a message for you now from our friends in the cable television industry.
In small towns and big cities across the nation, thousands of cable TV employees have been working hard to raise money to help Jerry's kids. From customer service representatives on the phones to installers, sales personnel, and workers in the offices, everyone has pitched in because cable cares about Jerry's kids.
Imagine being stopped in your tracks. The view from a wheelchair can change your perspective. Seen from a wheelchair, curbs can become canyons. The new Americans with Disabilities Act is going to change a lot of perspectives by helping to eliminate barriers and by allowing physically challenged individuals to become visible and productive parts of mainstream society. It takes imagination and financial resources to make our nation accessible for people like me. 40 years ago, Jerry Lewis imagined a more accessible world, a world free of neuromuscular disease. He brought our cause to the American public as national chairman of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. He publicly championed people like me and all we've accomplished. A lot of us believe we have the Americans with Disabilities Act in part because for 40 years, Jerry Lewis and MDA promoted disability awareness by making the campaign against neuromuscular disease a national concern. Invest in our efforts towards eliminating neuromuscular disease. Your pledge opens more doors than you can imagine.
Well spoken, and those very articulate words were from Bill Altaffer, an attorney from Tucson, Arizona, and a member of MDA's Task Force on Public Awareness. We've got some words for you now. We want you to know when you make your pledge, you of course can use your credit card, and here's how.
Hi, we're John and Joe, the set designers for the MDA Jerry Lewis Telethon.
You can use your American Express card, Visa, MasterCard, or Discover card to honor your pledge. For every American Express card used, American Express will contribute an extra $1 to MDA.
Please have your credit card handy when you call the number on your screen or dial 1-800-FIGHT-MD.
I was having the best time. Thank you. Oh, gracious young woman. Oh, I could make a star out of you. Get undressed. The Muscular Dystrophy Association gratefully acknowledges Walmart. Walmart stores and their associates nationwide who since 1984 has been raising funds to help my kids. So we thank you, Walmart. And MDA is pleased to acknowledge the support it receives from the Pop Warner Youth Football League. To the players, cheerleaders, coaches, and parents, thank you so much for caring. Lisa, you're back on, sweetheart.
Thanks, Jerry. And now I have got a special message for you from a woman who, with her husband, volunteered for MDA for many years. When her husband died, Mary Belinkus wanted to do something special in his memory.
In the hand that life dealt us, Ed and I always felt our greatest treasures were 5 healthy, active children. And then we were blessed with 6 healthy grandkids. You can't ask for too much more, right? It was getting to know and love 4-year-old Danny Temple, a muscular dystrophy patient, that brought home to us how truly fortunate we were. And that motivated Ed to be the #1 MDA fundraiser for the ERA Real Estate Network for many years. Now that Ed's gone, I try to do my bit in his tradition. One option I've taken is to remember MDA in my will. That's such a simple way to help fight a terrible problem. Maybe you, in your will, would like to help make neuromuscular diseases ancient history. Won't you call your nearest MDA office and be a part of MDA's willpower, and do it soon.
Jerry goes on tour, right into the casino. There'll be much more from not one, but 3 other comedians. Buddy Love, Noam Crosby, and Joey Villa. So don't go away.
My MDA clinic provides the health services and assistive devices I need to stay as healthy and independent as possible. The Muscular Dystrophy Association research gives me the hope to keep fighting. If MDA finds a cure, I may be disabled, but at least I'll be alive.
This is the MDA Telethon Network.
Some people think I'm disabled, but I'm not. I'm dying of ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. My MDA clinic provides the health services and assistive devices I need to stay as healthy and independent as possible. The Muscular Dystrophy Association research gives me the hope to keep fighting. If MDA finds a cure, I may be disabled, but at least I'll be alive.
Welcome back. We're going to be going back to Jerry and his entertaining guests in a few minutes. First, I want you to meet my wonderful celebrity guests. They have volunteered to talk about volunteering. You see, the 3 celebrities that you're going to meet are in their own ways and for their own reasons volunteers for MDA activities and programs. And we're going to hear how each of these celebrities decided that MDA's mission is one that they wanted to support, because they recognize that the programs are of tremendous benefit to those needing help. My guests are 3 very distinguished and very accomplished people. First, the wonderful actor Jameson Parker, who you know from such notable television series as Simon & Simon. Sitting beside Jameson is Walter Anderson. He said he wants to be mistaken for him. He is, Walter in his own right, is editor of the very innovative and informative Parade magazine. And of course, Maureen McGovern, a singer known all over the world for a fantastic voice and a tremendous number of hit recordings. So welcome. As you heard, the subject of this portion of the show is volunteering, or if I put it another way, you give something back. I wonder if that's just a show business phrase. I'm not sure. I think I'm pretty clear on why this is my 6th year with the Jerry Lewis Telethon. I also truly like the way I feel when I do something as meaningful and as rewarding as this. It just, people ask me why, and I say it feels good. So let's explore with you your reasons for volunteering for MDA. Jameson, you have some special and personal reasons for the work you do. Could you tell us about your family?
Yeah, well, very simply, I have a daughter with muscular dystrophy. And when we first got this news, my brain sort of short-circuited. I simply did not comprehend what the words meant. And I went back and looked it up in an encyclopedia. And we were told at that time that just a few months previously that they had discovered the chromosome where the FSH, with the abnormality which causes FSH dystrophy, fascioscapulohumeral, which is what my daughter has, that just a few months previously they discovered this chromosome, and they said in the forthcoming years, 5, maybe 10 years, we'll be able to find the gene. And I mention that because of something that just happened this past week. But to answer your question more directly, when something like this happens, you're devastated. I mean, the world is pulled out from under you.
How old was she?
She was 4 when she was diagnosed. She just had her 6th birthday in August. And you, as a parent, I mean, your instinct is to protect your children. I mean, if somebody breaks into the house, I'm going to fight them. That's what I'm there for. But you can't fight a disease. And we were trying to call around and get doctors, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, there's Jerry Lewis on the phone saying, offering hope, offering help. And and I guess, why do I do this? Completely selfishly, because it's a way for me to fight. I mean, this is the only way I have to fight back. But the reason that I mentioned that about the discovery of the chromosome, so we were told, as I said, 5 to 10 years, maybe they'd find the gene. Just last week, they found the abnormality, which means they're in the genetic neighborhood. They haven't got the precise gene yet, but they're there. They're very close. So when you have something like muscular dystrophy that does all this for so many people, and then you can see it concretely, step by step, I mean, it's hope, you know, it's hope is what they're selling. I mean, more hope than I thought I'd ever have in my life again.
But that research costs a lot of money.
Oh, absolutely.
So, MDA invited you to become a vice president and a division chairperson. What's that about?
Ah, well,
it's about 1 million hours of work. Is it about?
No, actually, I'd love to be able to churlishly say yes, it is, but in fact, MDA does all the work. I get to come on and essentially say things like what I just said, that they're closing in, that they're getting closer every year. They're getting closer. It's going to meetings and essentially trying to keep myself informed about the progress of the research on this particular disease, and essentially trying to encourage people to volunteer and to send not only money, which God knows we need and use, but also to volunteer some time and some effort, because this is an extraordinary organization.
Walter, I know you have given the cover photo and the lead article of your Labor Day weekend issue of Parade to Jerry Lewis and the Telethon every year, and it's been for 9 years. I think that means that's a very solid commitment, isn't it, to MDA and what it's trying to accomplish. Why?
Because, as Jameson so eloquently expressed, MDA makes a difference. Some years ago, I remarked to Jerry Lewis, what a selfless thing you do in all these efforts. And he stopped me. He said, Walter, what I do is not selfless. It's selfish. The most selfish thing you can do is to help someone else, because it makes you feel so good. And this makes me feel good, not because it's Pollyannic. MDA deals with the real world. It deals with 40 serious neuromuscular diseases. But it offers hope, again, as Jameson expressed. It offers real hope, true hope, that there are discoveries to be made. This is not a mystery that will go unsolved. To have a chance to participate in MDA, as anyone who participates at any level, it, frankly, not only gives my life value, it makes me feel good. That's why.
That's two of us saying that, and maybe millions and millions of others. Maureen, you have a personal reason for your involvement with MDA. Can you tell us about it?
Well, this is my 12th year in working with MDA, and you had mentioned earlier, you must give something back, and it's true. We're in a very self-centered business in the arts, and as I said, 12 years I've worked with them. The irony is, I do feel good about working with MDA. I've seen firsthand the clinics, the camps, meeting the families year after year. Just 2.5 years ago, my youngest niece was diagnosed with dermatomyositis. Just out of the blue, my sister's a nurse and had never heard of the disease. I, again, being with MDA for all these years, did not know that it was one of the 40 neuromuscular diseases. That's the wonderful thing when you give to MDA. It's not just one disease you're fighting, it's 40 neuromuscular diseases. And dermatomyositis is a disease where the immune system attacks itself. It's sort of, you become allergic to yourself. It's an inflammatory disease of the skin and muscles. And I'm very happy to say that, you know, we don't want to look the fates in the face here, but she's doing wonderful. There is no cure, but there is, at this moment in time, a treatment that is working successfully. And, you know, 5 years, 6 years ago, that was not necessarily true. So I'm most grateful to MDA and all the...
But you didn't know that when you started volunteering?
No. I just started working with MDA because I think it's a great organization.
I know, Walter, that you spent some special time last year at the MDA summer camp. I have only seen the photos, the film on that. I would think that one of the great pleasures in life is to see the kids who are at camp with muscular dystrophy and how they react to the camp. What did you experience when you attended it with the kids?
Tremendous excitement, almost impossible to describe. Yeah. There was a moment, though, when I was walking between two sections. I was asked to referee a softball game, and I was coming from a place where they had just thrown me in the water. So, so this was really exciting, and I wanted to take a shortcut through the woods. Again, this was in New Jersey. And I noticed as I was walking along this path, I couldn't see any kids or counselors, but I could hear them. And it suddenly struck me in that moment, if there were no MDA, there would be no sounds. There would be no camps for these children. If there were no MDA, many of these children would be shut away, or what we used to call shut-ins, in attics and rooms and in other places or in hospitals. But what I saw was kids having a great time with tremendous energy, having a resource, again, provided by MDA.
Maureen, you're a chairperson for one of the divisions?
The dermatomyositis, polymyositis division of MDA.
Yeah.
Again, to really reinforce, sort of spearhead the educational aspect of it, and let people know the letters that we get all through the year, you know, are, gee, we didn't know anything about this disease. We didn't know where to go, and to make it known to the public, all these different diseases of the 40 neuromuscular diseases that are covered, that there is a place to go. You can get help, and in my own sister's and my niece's experience, there's a wonderful MDA clinic. Dr. Jerry Mendel heads up the Ohio State University research medical clinic down there, and just do extraordinary things. So my work is just, you know, letting people know that it's there and they can be helped.
I think it's also important to say that when they do that research that you were talking about, that research helps heart disease and all kinds of other, because in a way it's all interrelated. And one discovery is quickly shared and the information is disseminated. You have some very personal reasons for your support. What is it about the organization that would make you want to volunteer to this extent?
Because it is...
It is before your niece did this.
Sure,
so
because you feel that family atmosphere, that network of friends all across the country. As I say, in different cities I've met these people personally, and you feel that there's love and concern and compassion and extraordinary help for the people. And that's, I mean, there's a million causes that are all noble and worthy to be working for, but I just, you know, I strongly believe in them. I believe in Jerry and all his hard work all these years for it.
Walter, how many people does Parade magazine reach?
We're distributed every Sunday in about 36.5 million households, which means we probably have someone in excess of 72 million readers. I usually like to say 72,491,000 as we're speaking.
And I can't challenge it. What do people say, oh gosh, why put Jerry in the cover again this year? I mean, what's the attitude?
Actually, what we receive thousands of letters, and they're supportive letters, and usually in every letter someone will qualify the letter by saying, and I contributed $10, or I called in for a $50 pledge, or they'll somewhere in there they'll say, dear Mr. Enos, and I could give you some money. But what they'll also do is ask questions. For example, Jameson has sparked probably about 1,500 letters on discussing the chromosome last week, because we'll be asked now to follow up on that. When will we find out? I'm going to get this letter 1,500 times. When will we find out the next step in the neighborhood that was being described.
Or how long will that take?
Sure, or the point that you were making about the heart and the other, but what are the other fields that get affected by the research that MDA does? And of course, it's throughout medical science.
There are, I meet at least, a lot of people who sit around and feel kind of sorry for themselves. And I know that MDA is an organization that really depends on its volunteers. And this organization needs people. They need help from people like the three of you. What would you tell other celebrities and the public, young and old alike, about volunteering for this organization and doing its work?
Aside from, it is a great feeling. I mean, we're all in a battle here, and it's not a battle, a destructive battle. It's a battle to really preserve life, and you know you can really make a difference and a change. And they're so close to so many of the diseases.
Well, if I said to you, I'm sitting around or I'm bored, or even my life doesn't have any meaning, what would you say to me?
Get off your behind and come help, because you can make a difference, and it'll make you feel great. Yeah.
I suppose I said to you, volunteerism sounds like some lady in, you know, Emma Jenkins shoes and a flower print. I'm not a volunteer. Yeah, come on, Jameson. I couldn't do that. What would you tell me? You know, people just hear the word and they get funny about it.
Well, maybe we should find another word then, because I would say that what you're missing, you're missing a lot if you don't, because there is much to be gained. I mean, the rewards are tremendous just from the donation of your time and your effort. You can get tremendous rewards from that. I mean, obviously I do. I have a personal stake, but even without that, you can get tremendous rewards from it. I did a PSA for muscular dystrophy long before my daughter was born, even, and just that little act was rewarding in and of itself.
Yeah. There are many things unique about our democracy, this great noble experiment for 200 years we call the United States of America. But one of the things that's most unique about our society, and we really rarely discuss, is what Henry Ford said: America is the volunteer society. Only this nation on this earth does volunteerism to this degree, that we care about one another. It's part of our uniqueness, that it matters, that we step forward. So there are many reasons, as Jerry Lewis said, the most selfish thing we can do because it makes it feel so good. Also, if you want to feel patriotic, do it because a good American does that.
Should be part.
That's right.
Yeah. Let's talk about what makes MDA different in terms of other charitable organizations. You know that this year MDA was named one of the top 10 best managed charitable organizations in the country. Would you like to comment on that in terms of the work that you do for MDA? I mean, does it matter that we have excellent management? It does, I think, help you with your commitment, doesn't it? You wouldn't like to work for a firm that was a bunch of people trying to find their way around.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. I mean, as I said, I visited the camps. I see how they're run. I see the letters that I get from other people about what has specifically been done for them and their family. And, you know, it's working. I mean, that's the thing. It is working. So, you know, more continued support is needed.
So when you get this feeling that you want to do something, so that when you go to bed at night and you look at yourself in the mirror the next morning, you say, you know, I made today count. And then you have the feeling that you're working for a good organization that other people respect, because more and more they write about that. What do you say to the critics, though? Do you have a thought?
Well,
here's your chance.
Yes, as a matter of fact. I would say to the critics, actually, I would have to simply reiterate what I just said, that I was told that it might be another 5 to 10 years and they'd find the gene, and a year went by, and it was found. I mean, I don't think I have to offer any more proof that this is an organization that works. This was found by MDA researchers and MDA scientists with MDA funding. Come on. What more do you need?
As with my niece, you know, 5 or 6 years ago, there was not a treatment for her. There is hope now, and
so we see results. Yeah. Did you stop to say to yourself, maybe I shouldn't put Jerry on the cover this time because of criticism? Did it occur to you to maybe change what you were going to do?
I think I would do a disservice to our readers if I responded that way. The MDA is so well run in real numbers. consider about $100 million raised in 1990 or 1991. About $56 million of that goes to patient services and education. $26 million goes to research.
So more to patients by far than to the research.
But that research does a phenomenal service because it provides the very discoveries that both Maureen and Jameson have mentioned. I know that in every noble cause there will be critics. One of the ways, and the assassin in his mind thinks, how do I become as big as the president? I shoot the president. How do I become as large as Jerry, per se? I criticize him. Fortunately, we live in a free society where criticism is encouraged, and it's part of our culture. But criticism is not a reason not to do noble work. And I think what we're part of here involves a noble cause, as you mentioned, Maureen, and we have a noble motive.
You've shared some wonderful and inspiring information. I think that you all represent what's best in people, which is the ability to give and care about others, even people we do not know. I hope you've inspired some viewers to get involved and feel good about themselves. If any of you are out there and looking for a cause you'd like to devote some time and energy, call your local MDA office.
I believe in committing myself to what's important in my life, my family, my job, and finding a cure for Becker dystrophy, the disease that's disabling me. I know that there's just one agency working on that, the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Sure, I believe in disability rights, but what's important to me is that MDA is working hard to find a cure for me. Without it, I won't be here to fight for what's important in my life.
Pre-dawn here in always active Las Vegas, and we are live from the Sahara Hotel here on the fabulous Strip. This is the 1992 Muscular Dystrophy Association Jerry Lewis Labor Day Telethon. And there he is, the world's newest casino host, Jerry Lewis.
Hi there, hi there. Hi there, good evening, hello there. Hi! You think you got in for nothing, huh? Look at what I got. Now, how many checks you got in your pocket? You got $5 checks, $1 checks, you got silver dollars, you got greenbacks. It's amazing at what I collect when I come out in the audience. It's amazing. Charlie Cheap, go to the hip. That's it. God bless you. That's terrific. Look at this. I picked up 125 already. You're just going to sit here? Yeah, but you just gave once. That's okay. What we do is, see, we collect, and then, pass it down, sweetheart, then we add up what we get on one of these trips, because somebody just gave me $1.30 in nickels. Then we add up what we collect, and then we use that money for CPR. My CPR. Hi there. How are you? Have you been here before? This is your first time? Why don't you pass it down to her? She'll put it there. Well, yeah, pass the bucket down. While the bucket is being passed, I'd like to say a few words about Oral Roberts. No, give me back the bucket. I promised the Lord I would get $700,000 before 9:30 tomorrow, or he'll call me. Aha! I got a live one over here. Hello there. Wonderful. Cheap bastard. Pass it down this way. Yeah, come back this way to me. Wait till you see. By the time I get through the whole audience, we'll eat up a whole hour. And I haven't got... Give it to me here. I'll take it in here, and then I'll put it... That's it. Right. Will you cut your nails, please? Okay. Did I miss over here? Yeah, okay. There, a check. I'll take that. Good. That's wonderful. Go ahead. Usually we have the orchestra, and they play during the time that I do this, you see, but we have to give the orchestra a little bit of a rest because they've been playing, they've been rehearsing, for God's sakes, for 6 days, 7 days, and they've played the entire show tonight. So we have to give them a little break. And that's why we don't have music right now. As a matter of fact, this would be a good time to read the will. Silent night, thank you. Thank you, sweetheart. That's very nice of you. There we go. You know they do this in church in Las Vegas, but they put in chips and coins. Yeah, they do that. I know a couple... What? Get your hands out of there. Sure, it figures. You got your second papers yet? There you go. I wish I had time to see you all, because I know you got a lot of bread that you would put into this bucket. But the important thing is that I had promised about 2 hours ago that we were going to get into the audience. Would you pass it down? Because I see a 20 there. I'm not leaving. Pass it down this way. 2 of them, my God. God bless you. Look at this. Ha-ha! Yay! Isn't that wonderful? Drunken kid here doesn't even know what's going on. Okay, do I have any more here before I have to go back? Well, thank you. My kids from the airlines, that's marvelous. I'm going to add this up, and it'll be interesting to see what we did in the 2.5 or 3 minutes that it took to just go through the audience on one side. You realize who I missed over there? My God, there's got to be $1, $1.30, $4, $4.50, silver. Okay. Where? Pass it down. I can't get to you. What are you looking to do? Get fresh, baby? There you go. Thank you. Okay. We want you to meet a marvelous, marvelous new comedian. I'm getting money for my kids. That's pretty nice, too. Thank you, sweetheart. A marvelous new comedian. I want you to welcome Buddy Love right there. Let's give him a big welcome.
Love. Thank you so much. You're wonderful. Exciting and new. Hop on board. Love's expecting you on that love boat, love boat. It's love on that naughty, kooky, crazy love boat, love boat, love boat. Thank you so much. You're absolutely right. I deserve every bit of it. You know, when Jerry called and asked me if I'd be on the telethon this year, I said, of course, I'd be tickled pink. So I put together a little medley of some of the great songs I've written for the great stars over the years that I've worked with. I'm going to start this off with a rock thing for the youngsters. A little thing I wrote for a dear friend, Mr. Led Zeppelin. Now, Led called me up this morning. Really, he called me up. He found out I was going to be on the telethon, decided that this would be the song we do. Ka-chow, ka-chow. Ka-chow, chow, chow, ka-chow. Honey, you better cool it. And baby, I ain't fooling. Ha! I would love to take you back to school and way down inside, honey, you need. Ha! I wanna give you my love. I would wish to give you every gosh darn inch of my love. Oh, got a whole lot of love. Hey! Got a whole lot of love. Hup, hup. Got a whole lot of love. Yes, love. Love, a very prominent theme in the 60s. Thank you. And I'll never forget these youngsters that came through town. Who was that? Peter, Paul, and Margaret, Bobby Dylan's, the Kingsford Charcoal Trio, that Bias chick, Joni Bias. They were strolling down the strip, and I invited them out to my ranch for a little barbecue. And there we were sitting around the campfire cooking up hot dogs and marshmallows, you know, just being plain folks. Folks playing music, and it dawned on me, what a great idea. Folk music. So I'd like to do a few of the songs I wrote for those kids that fateful afternoon. Well, how many roads must a man walk down before he thinks he's a man? And how many pools must a cat hang out by to get that really gorgeous tan? Everybody join in, come on. The answer, my friends, come on, is blowing in the wind. The answer is Puff, the magic dragon. Live by the hammer. I hammer Tom Dooley. I kumbaya, my lord. The answer, my friends, it takes a worried man to call the wind. Mariah, the answer. You know that answer. The answer. It is blowing. It is blowing in the wind. Yes. Yeah. Blowing in the wind. Reminds me of a nice kid who blew into town a couple years later. He came with a song in his heart and a few nickels in his baggy pants. From the Isle of Wales came Tom Smith. But who the heck's gonna go see Tom Smith? I changed his name right there on the spot to Tom Jones. That's right. Then we worked on the stylization of the act. The open shirt, the tight pants, the cucumber. No, it became too cucumbersome, for a better word. But these hits that I wrote for him, they were fantastic. It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. It's not unusual to have fun with anyone. It happens every day, no matter what you say. You'll find it happens all the time. What's new, pussycat? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. Pussycat, pussycat, I've got flowers and lots of hours to spend with you. So go and make up your cute little pussycat nose. You and your pussycat eyes. Whoa, whoa. You and your pussycat ears. Whoa, whoa. You and your green, green grass of home. And let's take you kids home with a thing that I wrote for Wayne Newton, 1963, folks, and no better language to sing it in than German. Dr. Shane, darling Dr. Shane, thank you for seeing me again. Though we go our separate ways, still the memory stays for always. My heart says, Dr. Shane, Dr. Shane. On behalf of Mikey and Marky, we thank you from the bottoms of our heart. We ask you to make a contribution to MDA so that we can say once again, Dr. Shane. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good job. Thank you for letting me move around the audience while you're on. We're going to give the ladies and gentlemen in the audience a figure of what we raised during the course of that little spin. Lisa, you're on, sweetheart.
We're going to give them a figure now? Does that mean we're going to look at the tote? You're going to count your money in the bucket?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, we can't wait for that.
They're working on the bucket now.
Okay, check out the bucket deal. In the meantime, here representing MDA's favorite fraternity, that's MDA's favorite fraternity, Kappa Alpha Order. I can speak to this myself. Dated some KAs in my time. It's, sorry. I forget we're in Vegas. These people are awake. We have to really pay attention to what's going on here. All right. We have KA's National Undergraduate Chairman from the University of Tennessee at Knoxville, Mr. Grayson Blair, is with Jerry.
Hello, Grayson. Welcome.
Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine. It's a good show.
Wonderful.
Good show.
Good show. Thank you. We're trying our very best, Grayson.
Jerry, it's my distinct pleasure as the National Undergraduate Chairman to present to you today this check for $120,000.
That's a wonderful $120,000.
On behalf of my national fraternity, Kappa Alpha Order.
Okay.
Thank you.
You want to announce the fraternity again so they hear it?
Kappa Alpha Order.
Kappa Alpha Order. What was it? Kappa?
Orpha Alpha Kappa.
Alpha Corporal Hyphen.
Correct.
Right.
You have it.
Hyphus Corporal Hyphen.
Jerry, this is the 20th year that MDA and Kappa Alpha have joined forces to combine to raise money. And all the KAs across the nation are proud and take pride in extending the gift to you.
Thank you.
It is our goal as a national fraternity
to give back to the community, and we can see no better way than to benefit the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
Thank you.
Good luck and God bless.
Thank you, Grayson. I look forward to seeing you again, and give my best to all of your Kappa Crapper happers. Give my best to your all of your Kappa happers. However you say it. Oh, yes. We have a tape we would like you to see. You can roll that, Clay. I'm looking forward to this myself.
Hi, my name is Miguel, and I'm one of the associate directors on this year's telethon. And I want to take this opportunity to ask all of you to call in your pledges now. Have your American Express, your Visa, your MasterCard, or your Discover card in hand when you do. And if you use your American Express card, American Express will donate an extra $1 to MDA. So please, call the number on your screen right now or call 1-800-FIGHT-MD.
That's great, Miguel. That was terrific. Miguel is one of our associate directors behind there. Isn't that wonderful how good Miguel is speaking since he got his green card? We would like to thank the Magnetic Tape Division of the JVC Company of America for their generous contribution of VHS tape stock for MDA's ongoing public health education program. We're bringing back this man for another guest shot. Wait a minute. You see, when I read the card about the tape and JVC and all of that, you can't give me the other card, which is now introducing the performer. It sounds like he's with that company. You know what I say? You know what I mean? So back it up and let me finish the card about the tape, right? So we're really delighted to thank JVC Company of America for their generous contribution of sending us the VHS tape. They sent one damn tape for this whole program. You can get it at Kmart for $9. I'm making an announcement to 100 million people thanking them for a VHS they sent us. But we do appreciate JVC of America. There ain't an American in the company. They're all Japanese, this JVC, that sent us the one VHS tape. JVC of America. So I want to thank you all for the beautiful tape you sent that we can do this show on. Now introducing a talented young man. He's here for another guest shot because we're not sure anyone understood him the first time. Needless to say, I'm talking about the best. Mr. Norm Crosby, right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, God bless you. Thank you. I got to tell you something. I think it's so chronic that the Jerry Lewis and muscular dystrophy, who pioneered a whole new concept in patient care and research, should have this telethon from Las Vegas, Nevada, which is probably the most #1 pioneering town in America today. I don't know if you know this. People have migrated here from all over the United States for this event. Las Vegas was founded by pioneers, brave pioneers, came here from Chicago with machine guns and opened up a town. That's the truth. Oh, I mean it. Look around. Take a moment to look bisexually around Las Vegas. If I haven't got time for laughs. If you flew here avial with an airplane, or if you came ambulatory with a bus, or even pedicle with your own car, you came over mountains through a desert. And it makes you realize, when you look at what's here, chandeliers and excavators and computers and cameras and people and guys with big companies that send one VHS. When you think about that, you appreciate who gave us this. Brave pioneers walked through the desert, climbed those mountains and slid in the slush and crawled in the crotchy crevices and tore their jeans in the arroyos and scratched themselves with the cacti. Carrying chandeliers and computers and escalators. That's right. That's right. That's not funny. Now, just a minute. That's the way those people came. I mean it, because they were idiots. They didn't know that the expressway comes from the airport. They didn't know that. And look what we got here. Magnificence. Casinos. And I apologize to the ladies, to the girls, lovely ladies with femininity and protrusion who come here. Mothers, God bless you, who know proneness in time of stretch, have to come here and walk through a casino. And it's not our fault. It's not Jerry's fault. It's not nobody's fault. It's a state law. They want you to go through there. You have to go through the casino to eat, to see a show, to go to the ladies' room. Am I right? Because they want you to hear that filth and dirt. Wise guys yelling crap, crap, right in your face. They want you to hear that. Shame on those people. Perverts. Perverts playing blackjack. Perverts. They are perverts. You ever listen to the blackjack players? Hit me again. They're sick. Let them go upstairs with the whips and the ice cubes. We don't want those people here. That's right. Feel bad for the little old ladies that come here. Little old ladies. Little old, tiny old, scroungy, pukey old ladies come here. Oh, I mean it. Little old pukey old ladies with blue hair. They come here from everywhere. I think there's a company that goes around the country looking for them, and they find them, and they bail them up, they ship them UPS, they come in big boxes. And late at night, the pit bosses dump them out and sprinkle water on them, and they jump up, and they become little old ladies. Oh! And they run in the casino with the paper cups. You ever see them? I saw one hit a jackpot yesterday, drank a whole cup of quarters. Oh! You know who I'm talking about? You could spot, they have little purses and little gloves and one big muscle on this arm. They walk like this. Maitre d's here? Any restaurant in the world, you walk in, they say, hello, how are you, sit down. Here they do a whole thing. Bonjour, monsieur, bonjour, madam. They call you madam, they don't even know your business. Why should they say that? Well, I hate that, Sandy. When two people go to a restaurant, a husband, a wife, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a guy with a concubine, whatever you got, two, always they say, how many are you? I tell them 15. Let them go look for the other ones. I hate that. Oh, guy came over to our table tonight. We were having dinner. I said, I'd like a bottle of wine. He said, what year, sir? I said, I want it now. And there's sickness here. There is disease in that casino, and I mean it. I don't know if you know about this. There is a disease called casino disease. They call it that because that's where you get it, in the casino. That's probably why they gave it that name. Jesus, this side understands everything I'm talking about. It's a man's disease. It's just for, ladies don't get this. It's a man's disease. Jerry knows about it because MDA is setting up a special division, the Bob Ross Sanitary Division, to try to find a cure for this disease. I'm serious. Men come here on conventions and junkets and with other desserts, and when they come to Las Vegas, they see the cocktail waitresses. You see them in the casino, cute little girls with the low clavicles and the pastry sticking out, and when they see them, it causes a hypodermic allergenic reaction in their pituitary glands, which causes pantaloon to excrete through their ducts and make sweat come on their hands, which causes their wedding rings to slip right off their Thank you very much. God bless you. Pick up the phone, make your pledge. Thank you.
You're wonderful. 3 o'clock in the morning and he gets that kind of reaction, right? Oh, he's marvelous. And he will be back on our program a couple of times more before it's over. I think it's important to let you nice ladies and gentlemen know, and it's going to go a long, long way. The bucket picked up $1,150. You're terrific. Thank you all. That's terrific. It will go a long way. Clay, will you run that tape, please?
Did you know that Money Magazine named the Muscular Dystrophy Association one of the top 10 best managed large charities in the country? I gotta tell you, the programs and services your dollars make possible through MDA are pretty impressive. For one thing, last year, MDA's expenses included 23.6% spent on vital neuromuscular research programs. The money supports some 500 scientific teams around the world making remarkable progress in uncovering the mysteries of genetic disease. One day soon, MDA research will change the future for all of us. That's where your money goes. On top of that, MDA spent well over half of its funds, 56.6% to be exact, for patient and community services. Been in for a medical checkup lately? A routine procedure? Then you know how expensive treatment and equipment are. The costs can be staggering, frightening to people who've just learned a family member has a neuromuscular disease. MDA provides services to thousands of men, women, and children battling these diseases. That's where your money goes. And then there's camp. Can you really put a price tag on what an experience like a week of summer camp means to physically challenged children? You bet you can. It costs $350 per child, and that covers everything from food to fun for thousands of kids MDA sends to camp every year. That's where your money goes. In addition, 19.8% went toward professional and public health education. MDA believes people should know about these diseases, know about where to turn for help, about MDA clinics, about research developments and seeking treatments and cures, about MDA's toll-free helpline. That's where your money goes. That's MDA. That's the whole story. Research, patient and community services, summer camp, professional and public health education. And MDA accomplishes all this with one of the lowest fundraising and administrative percentages among the very top charitable organizations. 17.5% goes for the fundraising and only 6.1% for administration. And that's why Money Magazine named MDA one of the best managed philanthropic organizations in the country. So you see, you can be sure MDA puts your pledge where it does the most good, to help people. And that's where your money goes.
And Casey, the truth of the matter is that's what this telethon is all about. You probably have your own reasons for watching at home, but the best reason is there are a lot of people who need your help. And what is your life for, really, if you can't use it to help another human being? The research is incredibly expensive. The progress being made is phenomenal. So give us a call, help us out. You'll feel really good for having done it. And Jerry, I know that P.J. Dixon is back right now to introduce another of our campus reps, so let's turn it over to you guys.
Thank you, Lisa. PJ, welcome back again.
Thank you, Jerry. The schools represented here tonight are all recognized for their exceptional fundraising efforts on behalf of your kids during the past school year. With me now representing Syracuse University, Syracuse, New York Island, Steve Lemberger, and representing the United States Merchant Marine Academy is Regimental Executive Officer Dennis Abbott.
Happy to know you. Welcome.
Hi, Jerry. At Syracuse University, we just finished our 20th dance marathon, and in commemoration of that, I brought you a T-shirt that we gave all the people who worked on it.
Thank you. Thank you. What'd you think I was, Kate Smith, for crying out loud? I like that. That's nice. Okay. Thank you. Let me put it here, because I can't wear it now.
Before I present you the check, I'd like to thank a few people who helped out a lot.
Before you present me the check, you're going to threaten me. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, I'd like to thank Christy Schwartz, who co-coordinated the marathon with me.
Christy Schwartz co-coordinated?
Yes.
That's great.
The entire executive committee that helped me get through the whole 30 hours. Julie Galler and the whole MDA staff back in Syracuse. And that's about it, Jerry.
That's okay.
But also the students who, on those cold days and snow and the Syracuse weather, stood out in front of the dome before the basketball games and collected lots of money in cans.
Well, they're great. We love them all. You tell them that for us, okay?
Okay, Jerry. And now I'd like to present you with this check for $57,000 we raised this year on our 30-hour dance marathon.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I'd like to just say that the midshipmen from the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy in Kings Point, New York, are helping you in your fight against muscular dystrophy in several ways. Besides fundraising, we're also helping to serve as crowd control here in Las Vegas and in 4 spots in New York. We've been doing this since 1966 at the Americana. Over the years, we've raised in excess
You
of
weren't born when you started doing this.
That's correct.
I have socks older than you. Go ahead.
Well, before I give you the check, though,
Okay.
I'd like to say we weren't scheduled to come on here. I was told about this 30 minutes ago. The reason we got on here is because about 2 hours ago, myself and the 3 other midshipmen that are here wrote Ms. Lisa Gibbons a fan letter and explaining our situation. And thank you.
I'll be over here as soon as you're done with that check. Let's move it on. I'm sorry, Jerry. I'm just helping as best I can.
Wait. Age before beauty, Sonny.
So I'd like to just thank you. And first of all, we only have 250 people that actually donated their own money, and that amount came to $10,000 for the muscular dystrophy.
That's pretty damn good. From the midshipmen. Thank you, Abbott. Appreciate it. That's great. Okay, before we go any further, for the benefit of this audience that were late getting here and didn't see me introduce this young lady earlier in the program, I would just like to have you see her. She's my good luck charm. And are you close on here, Clay? I just want you to see Danielle. That's my daughter. Look at that face. And the reason I show this to you, ladies and gentlemen, is that the $1,150 that you helped put into those containers that money's gonna go to research so that these babies stay healthy and grow up and be the wonderful people that we want them to be. For you out there, think about that. Okay, Lisa.
Thanks, Jerry. All of us who have healthy kids think about that. Danielle is so precious. I hope she'll be awake soon. You're going to bring her back, right?
She'll be back.
Okay, good. Hey, thanks to the midshipmen, too. Thanks for the check. Certainly, we appreciate it. I'm glad you guys could readjust.
What are you going to have to do for the check? That's what I want to know.
We're going to have to discuss a few things. Nothing has been negotiated as of yet.
Oh, okay. I'd like to be the agent.
Oh, you want to do some negotiating on my behalf?
No, I don't need 10%. I'd like to get a little more than that. It's all in fun, Sam. Sweetheart, it's like kidding, darling. You know, humor. Oh, Christ.
I don't want to tell you this, but Sam is pissed.
Well, that's it, folks. The FCC just said that's it. Go ahead, take it.
I do want to thank the midshipmen, though, really. I'm going to keep the letter. I appreciate it, and thanks to you guys for readjusting your schedule to be with us tonight. And the firefighters, our friends as well, nationwide, they are helping Jerry's kids. Let's watch this special message from the International Association of Firefighters.
13-8 all units reported child trapped on the second floor.
This year, let your actions speak through MDA. Firefighters, fighting to save lives.
Here's a scenario. Your father, the great tap dancer Skip Cunningham, has played in movies, on the stage, and nightclubs. But you've got your own plans, and one is getting out of your wheelchair.
I do performances with the LA Unified School District, and this is bringing the arts to the children in the school. They don't see tap dancing much. I look at these kids my son's age, and every time I do that, I realize that my son cannot do that.
It makes me hurt inside.
And when I see kids do stuff that I can't do, getting around, running around, jumping, playing, and everything.
When he was about 5 years old, we found out that he was not doing things as well as he should be doing.
I was just walking down this street with him, just taking a little leisurely walk. And he started to complain to me that his calves were aching. So I decided to take him to orthopedic hospital, and they gave him an examination. And that's when he let us know that he had what they considered Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And that was devastating news.
It causes my muscles to get weaker, and I can't do things like that other people do.
When I was told about Pacey and having muscular dystrophy, it was really a very shattering experience. He requires help getting in and out of the bed. He needs help brushing his teeth.
Things that flash to your mind is if he's not going to live through teenage, then I'm not supposed to expect him to become an adult. That's difficult to deal with. And he's finally come to a point that I never wanted to see him get to. We've seen him go into a wheelchair as of last year.
We have a new baby, and it's difficult for her to see her brother like this. She wants to play with him, and he can't get on the floor and play because I can't lift him off the floor once they're finished playing.
I was teaching him dance some years ago, even after he was diagnosed. And I watched him deteriorate to the point where I literally had to discourage him subtly. That hurts. Years ago, I did the Jerry Lewis Muscular Dystrophy Telethon, and certainly never entertained the thought that I have a child with any kind of a serious disease.
And I called muscular dystrophy because that's what he had, so I thought, well, maybe they have programs that can help him. And I'm so glad that I did because they have a camp.
Well, I go to the clinic and get therapy and all kinds of things, get braces to help me around, and they're really nice to me. And I was happy to be in an environment with people that do things that I do.
They've been wonderful. I don't know what I would have done without them.
With the way MDA works, certainly with all this research, something is happening now to make it so that it's not going to make life so difficult for patients.
I hope very much for a cure or treatment, something that'll make life much more easy for these children. They really deserve it. They have such wonderful personalities, such strong wills, and they need something that we can't give them. And muscular dystrophy, I believe, is going to come up with something very soon.
And I have to really have faith in that they will come up with a solution for my condition. I know they're researching an experiment, and that's the kind of job I want to do when I grow up, so I can help kids, other people like me.
A solution very soon. That is the promise. That's what we're all here for tonight. That was wonderful patient and his famous father, Skip. Jerry?
Thank you, Lisa. Ladies and gentlemen, the Muscular Dystrophy Association is pleased to acknowledge the support it receives from the United States Junior Chamber of Commerce, the JCs. A special thanks to the Louisiana delegation, who during the year raised $140,000 for my kids. I want to thank Paul and Sue Loudon for contributing their fabulous Sahara Hotel for this telethon. It's a great convention center, and our show is coming to you from its grand ballroom. So thanks again, Sue and Paul, and a special thank you to this most marvelous staff. And now to entertain you, ladies and gentlemen, we present a young man who has had the longest tenure at the Riviera Hotel because he's one of the best stand-ups they've got there, Mr. Joey Villa, right here. Let's bring him on with a happy, hi,
Joey. Good evening, Jerry. You know, I've been watching the show for 11 hours. You had these big stars. I'm the only one here I never heard of. It's true. Me, I have the worst luck in the world. Today, I put my shirt on, the button fell off. I went to pick up my briefcase, the handle fell off. I went to open the doorknob fell off. Now I'm afraid to go to the bathroom. I do have the worst luck. I was appearing in London, England. Boy, and they talk funny there. It's true. I got off the plane, I walked up to this English guy, and he said to me, right-o, right-o, right-o. I said, what do you mean, right-o? He says, you're standing on my right-o. I was in Splash. Splash is great. I walked into the show tonight. The maitre d' come over to me, and he said, Joey, I don't know what you're going to do. There's 1,000 Japanese in the audience. I walked out and I looked at them and I said, welcome to your country. Well, it's true. They're buying out everything.